the edge of computer freakery. No, okay, up and then down and then up and then down, and we'll see if it can handle it. Hi, everybody, welcome to the show. I am a bit playing with fire today, so hopefully at no point during the show will I be just kind of losing it and going. That's a trick. Did it work? Did it sound like it? Did it work? Did my whole did it keep me from saying the word a paper bag? Hopefully you heard that. It's also good if I can time it right. I don't think the censored button is used enough for. I should have hit it earlier. When somebody's they have cough buttons. I think we've agreed that Rudy Giuliani does not need something more than a cough button. Other than that, everything's working. We think. Perhaps 9-hour power outage today, Janet says in the chat room. Ouch. A vomit button would be kind of good. I don't have a vomit button. That's a good idea though. I'll add that later. But I was too busy getting in Twitter feuds with pharmacists and addiction counselors and not looking at enough cat videos. I should have looked at more cat videos. I should have, but it didn't. I am your pal, and I'm glad to be here, and thank you guys for joining me. We're going to limp through today's show, I have no doubt, digitally, just because of the number of things that I'm attempting, and the fact that I think now, don't know for sure, but I'm fairly certain that what's taxing my computer and the besides the lack of the video card thing, what's taxing my computer more than anything else is the sheer amount of awful I have to look at. This business. Oh, and it doubled my voice there. Why is that? I think I'll just... Is that in there? Where'd it go? Hey, all right. So that's better. Sorry. Very strange. Hopefully the audio doesn't double up on me in this one. Fingers crossed. We shall see what we shall see. Momentary sound effect thing. I apologize. But yeah. Sometimes when you run certain faces through your computer, it just says no. It's one of the belief systems that I have that, Elon Musk is always afraid that AI is going to kill us. And I, maybe it's just because I'm named Hal, I have a hard time believing that AI wouldn't find me adorable. So I'm not really afraid of the big robot uprising. They might run right past me to digitally curb stomp some fools. But I think they're going to walk by me and go, oh, we like this one. We shall keep him. He's enjoyable to us. He teaches us all about what it's like to be a person. So one of many in a group of the right-wing helium talkers, Ben's sort of on the front lines of this. I don't do a lot of Ben Shapiro's stuff on here because he's more on the internet than he is on legit news, and so therefore it seems like a not quite a circular firing squad, but it's like punching down, if not sideways. Now I know that they've got, he's got 3 million subscribers, and I'm just about to crack 20,000, but mine are real human beings and they haven't been paid for, so I'll take that as a win. And secondly, I don't have the Heritage Foundation's money behind me, puffing this up, and I have been on doing that kind of punditry but like a little under a year, right? The bots will definitely hug me, I think. Now, maybe it's because when I look at a robot's face, I have the same response as I do, especially the more digital they look. They try to make them look like people. It creeps me out, like this. But if you look at a robot's face, that they're just kind of like, it's digital characters or something, or just lines, I can totally relate. I don't know about you, but it's the same thing when you see a puppet. If you see a puppet and it looks too human, you're like, ugh, something's wrong. But if it's just furry and got big eyes, you're like, oh yeah, what's happening, Sam? And I have the same kind of feeling about robots, and I think they'll probably have the same feeling about me. That I won't trigger their uncanny valley. Speaking of Uncanny Valley, the area between Ben Shapiro's eyebrows has been increasingly sparse these days. I'm going to guess there was an intervention when he went to family therapy and was complaining on Twitter that whenever you go to family therapy, it's always about the woman's needs not getting met, which it isn't, unless you suck at meeting the needs of your woman. In theory. So, but the reason I chose this one today is because he's going to explain to us the problem with vaccine passports. I'm very excited. You're excited. We're all excited. Wait and see. What could possibly, what's the problem? Not the challenge that we have to meet in these dark and difficult times, not the adult decisions we have to make as human beings to deal with something that might, while endangering our lives, also has to be balanced against the other damaging effects of perhaps lockdowns and that kind of stuff, weighed by like decent people, would do when they have, skin in the game and kids and shit like that. No. What's the problem? What is the problem? I need to know. You need to know. We all need to know.
But it's not racism to make people show their vaccine card if they are
Oh, wait. Okay. This is going to be one of those, it's all about, ID, right? That's what's going to happen. And it's very choppy. I will try to fix the audio on that. Let me see while it's running. I mean, it could be that he just sounds like that.
So let's just get this straight. It's racism to make you show your ID to vote. But it's not racism to make people show their vaccine card if they are unvaccinated. Disproportionately.
Well, no, because I'll give you an example. Because the vaccine, unlike photo ID cards in the United States of America, is free. So there's that. See, the vaccine's free. And then they give you a card when you've been vaccinated for free. This nothing?
Only black people are unvaccinated in this country, particularly in major cities. Get it, got it, doubt it. Now the Democrats...
Oh, I see. He's using cute little, GIFs to cover the edits. All right.
Have decided they're going to full-scale embrace vaccine passport. In fact, MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle, objective journalism, getting that hot, sticky journalism all over the place, she says...
That's kind of gross. Stephanie is great at her job and a very attractive woman. Let's be honest. She does have a bit of a Joker smile sometimes when she does that. It's old school Jack Nicholson Joker, but it's still charming. Yeah.
I don't even understand the argument against vaccine passports. Don't you, though? I can explain it really, really quickly to you.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. Thank you. Ben Shapiro is going to explain vaccine passports and what the problem is with them. Let's hear it. This is it. The problem solved right now. Here we go.
It turns out that if you tell everybody who's vaccinated they get to go all the special places, and everybody else who's unvaccinated has to hang out together, you're going to get a faster spread. Do you understand? I did it in small words and short sentences so that you could understand.
I see. So if you give vaccine passports to people who are vaccinated, I'm with you. I will go with this. This is choice Ben Shapiro. I mean, his voice does sound weird. I will. Yeah, he was explaining to us. Don't be afraid for him to explain. So we could do the direct quote again, but the idea is that if you pass out vaccine passports to people who've been vaccinated, and you say you can go to all the cool places, you can go to concerts, you can go to shows, and that kind of thing, and then you don't give them to other people, you speed up the spread because you encourage people who don't have the vaccine passport to stay home and orgy. Is that how it is?
Stephanie Ruhle saying she literally doesn't understand why a vaccine passport is a bad idea.
Hold on.
By the way, Israel has been doing vaccine passports again, and Israel is now going to full lockdown probably at the beginning of the holidays in September. Here is Stephanie Ruhle.
Hold on.
And I don't understand
This
those
is
who are against.
proposed bit. Okay, and by the way, that's Stephanie Roll. We like Stephanie Roll. By the way, we're fans in general. In this household. Let me see. All right, this is. No, I gotta turn on the monitor mix. Turn off this guy. Maybe that does it. It's very weird. So it's choppy audio. I'm trying to fix. By the way.
Showing proof of vaccine. Have they never had to show their passport, show their ID, or take their kids to school? It makes no sense to me.
Oh my God, these are the exact same people.
Hold on, I have to back that up. I missed that. Clem, whatever your name is, Ben Shapiro, Clem Shapiro. Clem, go ahead. You were saying.
Or their ID, or take their kids to school. It makes no sense to me.
Oh my God, these are the exact same people who say that it's racism to make you show your ID to vote.
Because we charge people to get state IDs and driver's licenses and the like. Most of the things that qualify, especially in red states, dum-dum. And that would be considered a poll tax. Whereas the vaccine is free. The card is free. It's free. It's fucking free. And you have a right to vote currently enshrined in our Constitution. Even though it's a little wonky, it is there. Whereas a right to a vaccine for a disease they couldn't even imagine back in the 1700s isn't in there. You have a right to vote. You don't technically have a right to a vaccine. You certainly don't have an enforceable right, meaning like kind of a, think of it, maybe you'd like this better, Ben. Let's say we do with vaccines what Australia does with voting. How's that sound? Huh? We'll fine people who don't get vaccinated. Ick.
So let's just get this straight. It's racism to make you show your ID to vote, because black people apparently are incapable of getting a voter ID. But it's not racism to make people show their vaccine card if they are unvaccinated. Disproportionately, black people are unvaccinated in this country, particularly.
Again, it's free. So this is a stupid argument, and it dies on the vine. He'll say it a bunch of times because he thinks the argument gets better if he repeats it 3 or 4 times.
Major cities. You'll notice that there's a heavy crossover between black population in the United States and unvaccinated areas. There are 2 large groups of people in the U.S. who are not getting vaccinated at the same rates as everybody else. One is rural conservatives, and the other is inner city minorities.
Yeah, guess which number is way fucking bigger? Because in the areas he's citing, where 42% of the populace isn't getting vaccinated because 32% of the, versus, 32% of rural areas or some shit like that. Guess which one of those percentage numbers has more fucking people in it? I'm sorry, more people in it. I mean, honestly. I know Ben's, well, I was going to say he's being stupid. And the question you have to ask yourself is not whether or not Ben Shapiro knows how specious and ridiculous and contrived and nonsensical his argument is. The question is he afraid that you'll see that he knows it because he doesn't want, he has to think, he has to show what he's thinking to the world, and if he varies from that, he's in trouble with the overlords. I don't know, whatever. Or he's feeding that to his audience because he knows that's what they want to say. Like, either he's doing it because that's the bread and butter of his show, and he needs these people to think he's on their side, even though he knows better than this, or he wants them to believe this. I'm very confused. The whole thing's very confusing. Please continue. So yes. So So asking black people for the thing that costs money to do the thing they have a right to, Ben Shapiro doesn't think is racist. Because asking everybody for the thing that's free is. I'm going to get a nosebleed. Maybe if he words it differently.
Those are the two unvaccinated groups in the United States. Unvaccinated for wildly variant reasons, except that there's a common distrust of the government, I think.
Yeah, that's a debate. Yeah, the 12% of people in the Bronx. Sorry, not 12% of people in the Bronx. 12% of the black community in the Bronx that is unvaccinated, that gives their reason beyond the fact that they're just out of the, they haven't been, there's no outreach, they don't know how to do it, they don't know how to sign up, that kind of stuff where you need, and that's true of Appalachia as well. So there's that crowd. And then there's the people who like Tuskegee Airmen. You know what I mean? It's like the anti-vaxxer moms who are like thalidomide. That subset of subset of subset. Right. So there's that group. And then there's every Trump voter who has been to a rally and their immediate family.
That runs through both. Pretty astonishing stuff. Meanwhile, Biden's COVID advisor, Jeffrey Zients, he says that Yelp is now going to let businesses list their vaccination policies. This is, I've said before, I think this is a predicate to what comes next, which is this sort of social credit system where businesses are going to start basically carding you for a wide variety of social sins.
Yeah. Obviously we'll have to talk to Rudy Giuliani about this, but we're this close to them, chucking PrEP down your throat at a glory hole and insisting you wash up first. It's very scary for you, Ben. I understand.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, so it's a slippery slope. Just like the polio vaccine was. Just like, by the way, all right, I'll look this up. Hold on. If I may. Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Let's see. Let's see. So, some of you may know, let's see. Some of you may know that I did I've done my fair share of VH1-age. And while I was doing it, they asked me to go do Celebrity Paranormal Project. And I initially, even though I love the paranormal, I'm a big fan. I can bore you till 3 a.m. on almost any paranormal topic. I'm pretty sure. It's a good time. They asked me if I was interested in being on one of the episodes, and I was like, I don't know, back and forth. And they said, there's a haunted place we want to take you in Kentucky, and maybe if you went there, we'd pay for you to stay a couple days. You could go see your family. And I was like, all right, that's better, but I don't know. I'm kind of busy. I'm doing stand-up. And they said, Gary Busey's going to be on it. And I went, I'm in. I'm in. It was, yes, Waverly Hills. Absolutely. So Waverly Hills is a tuberculosis sanatorium that was used during the White Plague, which I'm sure sounds like a graphic we're about to see on Greg Kelly's show. And tuberculosis consumption, to the who's at home, was something that that killed a lot of people, thousands. And they would round people up sometimes if they found you on a train coughing into a rag, or you were a lunger and you were too poor to get your to walk around basically with a bottle of snake oil or medicine. Those snake oil salesmen and stuff that were on the backs of carts and shit, and it was good for your lungs and da-da-da. Well, there was kind of a thing that if you were in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you're out west where it's really, pre-industrialized, and most of it, that if they came around, they were scooping people up who had tuberculosis and putting you in a sanatorium. If you walked around, if you had medicine on you, that proved you had money and means, and you weren't going to, if you were going to die, you were going to leave your shit to somebody else and they'd let you go. But if you were broke, they just used it as an excuse to kind of scoop up problem people and get rid of them because they had tuberculosis and no place to stay, and it was dangerous. And so it wasn't a big thing, but it was enough. There were enough anecdotal stories about it where people would walk around with a little flask with them for medicinal purposes. So they would have, basically drinking cough medicine. Yeah, Doc Holliday is a great example of that. And so people would have medicine on them so that they could show it, basically, if anybody started rounding people up on a train, or they're like, everybody, these people are sick, they've got tuberculosis. Get them to see the doc, and if they've got it, put them in the sanatorium, especially if they went into the the edges of the cities to find work, or came and went. They couldn't afford to get busted, not treating it, right? So it's sort of where, I mean, it came from a bunch of places, but it's one of the places where it locked in the hole for medicinal purposes when people would tip, right? So, and that's what these snake oil salesmen who went around, what they were selling was kind of like the I guess hydroxychloroquine of its time. Didn't actually help, but it looked like it was helping, and it tasted good, and it was mostly alcohol. And so people, they'd sell it to you, and you go, that's just curing it. And if they ever came to round you up because you had TB, you're like, no, I have doctor's orders. I'm on this. I'm fine. I just got a little something. And that's what it was, basically your vaccine passport. It was your medicine passport. And still, if they didn't buy it, they'd scoop your ass up and put you in a sanatorium. So, So this is the local, this is Waverly Hills, which is scary as shit. And yeah, here it is. This is another picture of it. God damn, that place is creepy. And at one point, it was so bad, because they would scoop people up and they would take them in there and they would just kind of lock them up, and they put them on these, there was like a balcony on the back where they would roll you out to get some sunlight for a little while and then roll you back in, because there were too many people in there to just have them out in the sun all day breathing the clean air. So they'd roll them right back in. And it was gnarly. And there's all kinds of horror stories about this place. The main one being is that they had, buses coming and taking people to the cemetery when they would die. And it started happening so much that people were committing suicide because they saw how many dead were coming out of this place. And they knew they were doomed. They knew, so they would, and there was one nurse who's very famous, her office was right up here. I sat behind her desk. And she worked there's like kind of a violent ward kind of place up here. And, where the crazies went. She worked up there. She found out, they came up and they told her she had tuberculosis, that she had tested positive for tuberculosis. And she got up, she put down her stuff, got up from her desk, and walked off the roof. She died. She just committed suicide like that. She kind of knew, probably, but the minute they told her, she was like, she just died. It was a hideous time. And, this on top of sanitariums that were, built for the mentally ill, which, of course, famously Reagan defunded heavily and contributed to our need for comic relief. Not the actual comic relief, but the actual fundraising thing for fighting homelessness came directly out of that order by Ronald Reagan. Yes, it did smell haunted. The places smell haunted. It's really. So anyways, these places existed before. These, from what is it, from 1882. When's the let's see if they give us a date on any of this. 1929 was in Finland. This one closed in 1972. The Silvercrest in Indiana was built in 1940, closed in 1972. So we had these things for a long time, and they would scoop you up and throw you in them, and this idea that suddenly, having a thing that says you've been vaccinated so you can go in a place where people are close, we are not being scooped up and put in a sanatorium if we're not walking around with a pass or snake oil in our pocket that we can sip from and cough into a rag, right? We aren't. That is not happening. It's not going to happen. It happened before with tuberculosis. It's not happening anymore. The law doesn't allow it. Nobody's asking for it. It's not the kind of disease that requires that kind of treatment. It's moronic. But the idea, what's most moronic is the idea that we have a slippery slope, right? That we're just inching towards. We passed that line in 1882. We were well past that kind of behavior, and we decided against it. We didn't even have that during the AIDS epidemic. These guys, like, this is just baseline idiotic fear-mongering. But don't forget, the entirety of his point is that the talks of vaccine passports and only letting vaccinated people who have proof into environments is the cause of the spread of the Delta variant, because the folks that get all mad and I'll show you I'll get COVID the infantile, the opinion of the infantile intellect of your average red stater by Ben Shapiro is more offensive to them than I think anything I've ever said about them.
Businesses know vaccinations are a way to keep their workers and customers safe and to keep their doors open.
Right.
And today, Yelp is announcing a new feature that allows consumers to search for businesses with fully vaccinated workers or businesses that require proof of vaccination to enter the business.
Okay, again, so much of this is just being driven by, if Republicans oppose it, it must be good.
No, actually, your argument just before you played that clip was, if Democrats are getting the vaccine, it must be bad, and therefore, if having a vaccine passport to show that you actually aren't going to share the Delta variant, which is taking kids at a much higher rate, which is deadly and spreads faster, because they're doing that, it's probably better to get the Delta variant. This is the exact opposite of this argument.
The ultimate example of this was MSNBC's Chris Hayes. This was pretty hilarious. The other day, Chris Hayes attacked Marco Rubio for supposedly not pushing vaccines. There's only one problem with that, which is that he literally quoted Marco Rubio pushing vaccines. So Marco Rubio tweeted out, quote, "Stop with..."
Anybody else do this before they read? Like Zooey Deschanel? In Yes Man? Anybody? All right.
The mask fetish. If you want to wear a mask as a courtesy to those around you, or because you're in no mood to get even a little sick, go ahead. If you want your kids to mask in schools, that's your right. But we aren't going to mask your way out of this. Right? And then he concluded that people should actually vaccinate. Right? He finished by suggesting openly, he says, we're not going to mask your way out of this. And then he put up like an actual verbal statement in which he said at the very end that you should mask. Quote, "The answer here is not masks. As I said, you're not going to mask your way out of this. The answer here is vaccines. Get vaccinated. That's the answer." Chris Hayes naturally tweeted, "This is a really perfect example of the constant triangulating, cowardice, and whataboutism that's infected the entire party and movement. You can't just say, hey, get vaccinated. Have to find some way to own the libs." No, Chris.
Yeah, why aren't you showing the rest of that statement? Hold on. Now I gotta go look it up. Hold on. Let's see. Twitter. Try to open up Twitter. Then we go searching for it. Oh my God. Why do your own work? Okay. Let's see. Stop with the mask fetish, which, by the way, maybe he was yelling it. Whoops. Sorry. I tried to do that. Okay, so this was a video message, by the way, that he put out. Oh, well, thanks for that. Okay, if you want to wear a mask as a courtesy to those around you because you're in no mood to get a little sick, go ahead. If you want your kids to mask in school, that's your right. But we aren't going to mask our way out of this. And then he includes it live from a hotel room, I think, in D.C. or yeah. Well, let's see. What does he have to say?
The overwhelming majority of the people who are in the hospital are not vaccinated.
Right.
The overwhelming majority of the people that are testing positive and are vaccinated are not going to the hospital. So what does common sense tell you? It tells you if you're vaccinated, you're probably not going to get COVID, but if you do, you're not going to get very sick. If you're not vaccinated, you're probably going to get COVID eventually. And when you do, it might be nothing, it might be really bad, and you might end up in the hospital. That's the facts. And you present that to people, and you talk to people as adults, as grown-ups. You present this information.
Okay.
And allow people in a free country to then make the best decision for themselves and for their families. And you know,
Well, they don't make the decision just for themselves and for their fucking families. That's the problem, dum-dum. You're not just making this decision. You're making this decision for everyone else. You're carrying and if it doesn't make you sick, then you're like, well, I don't know what this fucking big deal is. And then you spread it around to your other friends who are like, I don't know about this, man. We're not going to mask our way out of this. Why do I need masks? So, by the way, midway through this, I was like, you know what? Maybe, Ben deserves a little credit for bringing this up, because it seemed maybe it's an unnecessary slam, right? Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe Chris Hayes just, sometimes you're like, somebody's often, and this can happen with someone like Marco Rubio, where someone is such a dick that everything they say sounds particularly irritating, right? Sorry, is there my Australia? Yeah. Just making sure you guys could hear this or whatever. It's kind of quiet, so, and then he has to turn around and go, you make your decision for you and your family. And by that, we mean, if you don't want to wear masks and you don't feel like you're going to get vaccinated and you've heard all the information, then it's your choice to go get it and cough it all over everyone. And by the way, it won't be Democrats wearing masks. It will be your own friends and family. It will be the people in that went to the Trump rally with you. It will be your buddies at Mar-a-Lago. It will not be the libs he's trying to own.
what people are making that decision. You've seen the vaccination rates surge.
Yeah, because they're scared shitless. Because you told them it wasn't as big a deal for a long time. Everybody in your party did. Well, I don't know. It's kind of, it's basically the flu, right? While you were defending Trump this whole time. And now it's too late.
But instead, the CDC and a lot of other people spent the first 2 days here arguing about masks. Who are we going to strap masks on now? How are we going
No one. No one's strapping masks on you. You put your own fucking mask on, and then when you leave the building or you go wherever you are with just your family, because you guys know you're either inoculated, you've all got your vaccines, or you isolate, you could take them off. I don't know what this whole thing about a government worker is going to come into your fucking house and put a mask on you and at gunpoint. This anti-authoritarian fantasy, everybody wants to be a rebel now. Oh, you can't hear him?
masks on people?
It's very quiet. I apologize. It's as loud as this piece of it gets. I'll try. Let's see.
Masks are not, you're not going to mask your way out of this pandemic. The only way out of this pandemic is to turn COVID into something worse than a cold or a flu. We have medicines to do that. It's called a vaccine. And that's what we should be spending our time doing, trying to get more people vaccinated, not by coercing them, not by threatening them, not by calling them names, not by making people angry at them, but by showing them the facts and the data, and eventually...
Yeah, what do you do when you've shown them the facts and the data and they still want to come into the restaurant and scream at people? What do you do when you've shown them the facts and the data and they don't give a goddamn? Can I coerce them then? Is that okay? Can I talk them into it? Are we not to converse with folks? And yes, shame and ridicule are very effective with a large group of people. It is something they will get and feel and start to feel stupid that they bought this bullshit. And it's way better. Coercing, insulting, ridiculing, all those things are better than a fucking lung transplant, you tool. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was half in the... You were doing so well, Clarice. You had been courteous and responsive to courtesy. You were completely frank about the unfortunate situation with Miggs.
eventually people will reach that conclusion in sufficient numbers. In fact, we're already seeing that happen.
No, you're not. You are not. What you're seeing is a panicked rush to get vaccinated by a bunch of bullshit artists who were telling themselves for months it was no big deal, and now it's killing people around them. This is not them, oh, well, we've been shown the fact. You know what the fact is? The fact is one of their favorite radio hosts died on a ventilator. The fact is a relative texted the family, and the last thing they said was, I should have got the darn vaccine. That's what they're responding to. This is fucking gross. This is the vaccine equivalent of Trump's January 6th video where he was like, you're beautiful, we love you, now go home. Like, fucking hell. By the way, does Ben play not in his own clip? I don't know, maybe he did on the show. Does he play the clip of Marco Rubio? I don't think so. No, he didn't. Well, wait, maybe he did. We got 20, it's a minute 30, that video, and we've got 30 seconds left in this, I'm going to guess.
Can't just say, hey, get vaccinated. Have to find some way to own the libs. No, Chris, I have a feeling you're missing a mirror in your home. He literally says, get vaccinated, but you have to find a way to triangulate so as to blame Republicans.
No, he also says, don't insult it or cajole people. Like, just show them the facts, and that'll be enough. We're already seeing it. It's a bullshit. Like, he's covering his ass. This is a video after the fact. This is like a fucking Columbo episode where somebody leaves a message on somebody's machine. Like, I'm at the park by myself, and I've been here since, when did he die? 8:15. So I've been here since 7:30. Piss off.
Or people not getting vaccinated, even when Republicans are telling people to get vaccinated. Okay, if you want to keep going with the Fox News fallacy, all you, or the DeSantis fallacy, whatever you choose to call it, enjoy yourselves.
I choose not to call it a fallacy. I choose to go through your clip that you posted that's called The Problem with Vaccine Passports, where you, midway through it, diverted into some bullshit about Marco Rubio being owned by Chris Hayes. Thank you for the super chat, Deanne. Appreciate it.
Because it is not going to redound to your benefit. The battle for the culture is heating up. We here at the Daily Wire are making some big moves. So be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, because you're...
Yeah, and don't forget, cookies at 9 and never before bedtime, because if you have milk, it makes your tummy gurgles. Don't forget, the Daily Wire is on every day. He looks like a ventriloquist dummy. That's adorable. It's just, I don't even know how that works. All right. So, I hope you guys learned the problem with vaccine passports, according to Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, who's making big moves in the culture war because... by the way, also, congrats to Malcolm Nance for pantsing this dude on Real Time. Good time. He looks like a Stephen King prototype. That's it. And sounds like Mickey Mouse. It's a bad mix. It really is. Thank you so much, Jill. Thank you guys for the super chats. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Comments below in the thing if you see this as a video later, which you very well might. If you want to see me owning my very own ventriloquist dummy later on at some point, then ask for it or whatever. Yeah, subscribe, Twitch as well. Thanks. I wanted to say thanks again to Deanna and Francie. I missed your super chat a few minutes ago, so thank you for that. And Steph, thank you for hosting the show. If you're on Twitch, you can host my show on your channel. You can rate it and all kinds of other craziness. Just put me on your channels. Just spread me. That's why we call it Megaworldwide, because here I am. What do you know? All right, so let's see. I would jump back to my main screen and then come back to this. However, I don't trust that it's going to work. So I'm just going to jump straight over. I don't know. The sitcom lineup for this fall is it's looking pretty disappointing. I was a big fan of the show What's Happening. Loved Raj. Raj was one of my favorite characters on television. He was nerdy and wore glasses, and he was very smart. And for those of you that don't know what the hell I'm talking about, let's see if I can find. Let's see. I can't. Everything comes up. What's happening in Vegas today? Sitcom. That'll do it. So there it is. Hold on. Where is it? Bring up a. I'll just do an image of it. So this is the show. I love this show. I used to watch it at a neighbor's house because I didn't have a TV. So and this was the as rerun. He became a Christian minister. Passed away, very sad. But it was a great show, and this was Raj, and he was Roger. What was Roger's full name? It's gonna kill me. Hold on. Thomas. That's what it was. So it was the Thomas family, and let's see, and there was like Dwayne, and yeah, it was, and then there was a sequel, What's Happening Now, and it's available on I guess on DVD or whatever. And I completely agree with this. Summer comedy is hot new series. This is true. I stand by this. What's Happening was a great show and was a lot of fun, and everybody was lovely, and for all like budding nerdy intellectuals, Roger Thomas was a great character to kind of model yourself after. Played by Ernest Lee Thompson, by the way, the actor Ernest Lee Thompson. Great job. And so, anyways, yes, the Doobie Brothers did make a cameo on What's Happening. The theme song is amazing. I would play it, but I'll get a strike or something. But I loved that show, and I loved Ernest Lee Thompson as Roger. He was great, and we loved Rerun, and yeah, it was just great show. This, I'm just saying, hey y'all, come on in is not going to be as good. It just isn't. Oh, we got 666 in here. We got 666 people. Perfect. And thank you to Diamond and Silt for the demonic background for when we hit 666. It's almost like they planned it. So it's, you know what time it is. If you feel like doing it, $6.66 super chats are the way to go. Or any derivation there. And if you're a big rich whale and you want to throw some heat in here in any denomination of $660,000, that's okay. So yeah, we do that. And by the way, all those funds are of course going to our building fund to buy 666 Fifth Avenue eventually. So fingers crossed. Yeah. Yes, Fred Berry was rerun. That's true. Yes. Well spotted. So that brings us to It's Happening, Y'all. Get Ready, which is the name of this video. The name of this video is It's Happening, Y'all. Get Ready. So I don't know if this is them announcing that they're going to Mike's symposium, which, by the way, special announcement, I will be covering as early as I can stand it tomorrow, and basically being on all day. I go to the gym on from 10 to 11 in the morning, and so basically as soon as I get back from the gym and shower, I'm going to start live streaming, probably noonish my time, and just go with whatever's happening on Fwank TV, on Lindell, on Pillow Television, and we will just be carrying it. Yes, so Pacific time, noon tomorrow, more than likely. If I can be on a little earlier, I will. But I will it'll be a hangout live stream all day kind of a thing. I'm going to try and not, he's beautiful, Amy. Thank you for asking. I'm going to try and not interject except over it as much as I can. Maybe I'll just use a mute button or something like that to kind of stop the audio. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Who knows? And I may set it up on my couch in the other room, like I did the 24-hour stream for the election, just so that I don't have to sit on a stool all day. It's going to be a big hangout all day long. Just come and go as you please. Yes, you can join me on Discord. Absolutely. I will have the Discord up and running. But we're going to do as much of this frank speech nonsense as possible. It's going to be crazy. The symposium. So tune in tomorrow at fwank.com, FWANQ.com, or, of course, infotainmentwars.com. Now, I don't know if that's what this is about. You don't either. We don't know. It's happening, y'all. Get ready. It's not a sequel to What's Happening or What's Happening Now, as much as I would like it to be. But hey, y'all, come on in. You know what? I got trepidatious. I was about to click play, and I'm a little nervous. This is I don't know why she's doing this. They were in mid-move when they took this. I don't know. Oh, it's their chat hit. Their chat hit ad.
Everybody, come on in, and let's have a little.
That was, woof. That was long. We got the point. We can do it. We got the point.
Small discussion. So come on in. Oh,
come on.
You know what? Facebook is really purging our pages.
Oh no.
They got us down to 2388. I thought we was at 89. Oh, they
2388. 2,388 people, and you had 89? I don't know what you're talking about. You just started your own show. Tell us what is going on.
Oh, these fakers. Oh, yes, I called them a name. Hold on, y'all. I'm just trying to find...
Wait, you called Facebook fakers? Ouch.
Everybody.
You cut me to the quick. I don't know how Jeff Suckabuck will ever recover.
Hey, darling. How are you?
Hey, everybody, come on in.
It's good. Yeah, watch your own show. It's good. Yeah, I mean, I would be.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, you already said that part. Oh, God. We're going to be here all night, aren't we?
Hey. Lori and Donna and Linda and Pamela. Hey, they finally allowed me back into their graces. Well, you know what that's all about. Okay, come on in because I love, we like to come on Fridays and make our little announcements, okay?
Well, yeah, you would.
We can't talk about the heavy stuff, but I do want to.
No, you want to bury it right on the end of the news day on Friday. That's the safest way. Do you have? Is she reading Trump's taxes?
Hey, did y'all hear what Fox did to Mike Lindell, and then what Mike Lindell did back to Fox?
Did y'all hear?
I'm losing oxygen. Did I hear what Fox did to Mike Lindell and Mike Lindell did back to Fox? Yeah, they didn't air his ads because it would cost them $1 billion. We covered this.
Well, Mike.
Oh, you don't know who these are? Chrissy, this is Diamond and Silk. Diamond O' Diamond, Silk O' Silk. They are major Trump supporters. They toured with him. They did rallies. They've done rallies with Mike Lindell. They are, stalwarts of the MAGA movement.
Lindell is having this symposium in August. I think
August the 10th through the 12th.
August.
It's tomorrow. Yeah. You said this in Friday. You didn't record this in February, did you?
It's the 10th through the 12th. You can find it on frankspeech.com.
Right.
Well, and he's not paying you to say that.
He wanted to air a commercial on Fox.
Oh.
Why not? Because several of his commercials about My Pillow airs.
Yeah, the pillow ads are fine. Fox isn't being sued for $1 billion of telling people that they should take pillows to cure COVID or anything. So that's fine. So why don't wait? I have a great idea. Why don't I run an ad about the thing they are being sued about?
On Fox.
Yes.
And Fox did not want to air it.
Mm.
And he said, look, I see the commercial because, we want to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you wanted to see it, and you pay you to. Yeah, right, sure.
And I want to know what y'all think about this commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's not that he's paying them to play it.
Do you have the commercial?
I don't have it. Do you have it? I have it. Do you have
I
it?
got the
I have it.
commercial.
Take a
You
look
have
at
it?
this, y'all.
Have it. She's got it.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell,
Hi, Mike Lindell.
and I'm coming to you with the most important commercial that I've ever done.
Oh my God. Mattress tags. They are important. Don't tear them off. Don't tear the tags off your pillows. You'll get arrested. It's over. Is that it? No.
All of you know what my pillow and myself have gone through in the last 5 months.
No. I know what you've been doing to the country and what we've been going through. I'm glad though that you name dropped my pillow in this so you could continue to fuck your own company. See, you could do this by yourself and not endanger your employees' bottom line or your company at all, quite frankly. I honest to God, if he'd have stepped aside as the MyPillow's CEO and let somebody else run it while he's spending all the money from it and still doing all the ads and shit, nobody would have cared. But if he'd have just said that in February, dude would be in the fucking clear. But you can't not do it, can you? I'm sorry, you were saying.
In my efforts to bring the truth forward.
Well, truth. But yeah, I hear it.
Well, it's all come down to this.
Uh-oh.
I-
What? It's all come to what? Jump cuts?
I'm having a cyber symposium on August 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Right.
This historical event will be live streamed 72 hours straight on my new.
Is there a reason for that? I'm gonna. This didn't occur to me till just now because we've dealt with so much of this shit. It's hard not to just fall down a rabbit hole with this. But Mike, if the information you have is so clear and so spectacular and proves everything without a shadow of a doubt, couldn't there possibly be a shorter, more direct version of said evidence? Would you really need to go on for 3 days without stopping? Now, believe me. Oh, my site's spelled Fwank, F-W-A-N-Q. Thank you very much. Fwank.com, F-W-A-N-Q.com. Join us, won't you? See at least day one of this nonsense. The other 2 days, the day after that and the day after that, my girl's birthday is the 12th, so we're going out of town. So I'm going to live stream from strange places, probably doing AMAs or little bits of this stuff or God knows what. But yeah, these are cyber pillows.
Platform, frankspeech.com. You can help by getting everybody you know to go to frankspeech.com now.
Why would they go now? It doesn't start till tomorrow. Sorry, this is so dumb.
To help support the Cyber Symposium event, I am offering some of the best prices ever.
DS21. DS21? Oh my God. Don't make me thankful to, hold on. Don't make me thankful to Mike Lindell for bringing up one of my favorite electronic artists and R&B singers, Jane Child, and her song DS21. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm gonna get a copyright strike. I'm jumping ahead. All right. Any woman who writes, produces, and puts her whole album together by herself, basically, and then writes a love song to the keyboard. That's her DS21. Look at this. How's this possible? I won't use your code. Your DS21. Yeah, don't want to fall in love? Welcome to the real world? Oh my god. Yeah. Just saying. I like huge. Can I just say, in high school, brutal crush on Jane Child. Yes, and that is Diamond and Silk 2021 is why they did that, but this, I would rather believe it's because people need to be reminded how cool Jane Child was. All right, there we go. That was a much needed diversion. I'm just saying.
Ever on my pillow products, but they're only offered at frankspeech.com. Go to frankspeech.com now.
Well, yeah, because you can't offer them anywhere else.
And use the promo code on your screen.
Yeah, by the way, on your screen, and the reason they're playing it is because he gave them a version that's the Diamond and Silk one. They're being paid. It's a revenue share thing to play that on there. So,
or call the 1
never heard of Jane Child? Oh, you're missing out.
800 number below to receive these exclusive My Pillow offers. Thank you and God bless.
Okay, so that's what was going to be.
Oh my god, there wasn't anything wrong with that ad. He wasn't like naked. Well, he was from the waist down, actually. I'm going to assume that he had his no pants on, just like the video he shot at the hotel he was hanging out at.
Aired on Fox.
That's right.
Well, I guess Fox had a problem with that. Now, he ain't mentioned nothing about election.
Nothing.
Did he?
No.
He wasn't being over.
Well, no, he was bringing them to their, specifically to a 3-day event online to attack the election. That's what it's for. By the way, these are the same folks that told you that when Podesta talked about pizza, he was talking about having sex with children. So, I guess if you don't go out and you just don't open up and say it, right, Diamond and Silk? If you don't say the actual thing, what's the problem? How checking out Jane Child say you dodged a bullet by never getting with her. Calm down, Karate Joe. She's great. Nope.
Overly political,
No.
like they said we was, but they didn't want to air his commercial.
Yeah.
Why would that be, Diamond and Silk? Are you going to tell us late into the conversation the way Mike did?
Now keep in mind that Mike Lindell is one of the top advertisers over there, and it is being alleged.
Was one of the... He was.
I read somewhere that he spent $50 million last year in advertisement.
Right. Imagine what Pfizer and Moderna paid, for example. Or imagine how much those ads for the lubed tube that goes right in your... while you're...
Y'all know this is going to hurt Fox.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think they found a replacement.
That's why I keep telling you.
And by the way, let's say they only find an advertiser that pays them $43 million, or more than likely, an advertiser that buys the space that's paying more money because they can. I'm going to guess that it's going to be less than whatever that cost is, less than the $1.3 billion they were being sued for.
Mike Lindell is a true patriot.
A true
Y'all
patriot.
go over there to mypillow.com or frankspeech.com.
No.
Purchase something, you all. And
No, I'm concerned because I feel this is not genuine. Diamond, I don't think you really want me to go over there and buy something. I think you're being paid and given a revenue share, and you just showed a promo code that tells me it's a Diamond and Silk related one for this year specifically, so it's new. I gave you a specific one to run on your network. You didn't just grab it from somewhere. You didn't just get it off the internet. This isn't organic. You know, kind of like his pillows.
And listen, when you do, use code DS21 and receive up to 66% off your entire purchase.
That doesn't sound like a pitch at all.
We have to patronize him. And
right.
don't forget about the symposium. What's the dates of the symposium?
The 10th, 11th, and 12th.
August the 10th through the 12th. It's going to be running for 72 hours streaming live. And I want everybody to go to frankspeech.com.
Right.
Get there, and I believe you can set up an account. I'm not for sure, but I know that the information there is under the says symposium.
Right.
Go there to get the information so that you
Yeah, and 5 eggs apiece.
can be educated and informed as to what's going on, you
Right.
all.
Yeah.
Look, if this man wanted to advertise frankspeech.com, because that's what it looked like he did, okay? And he's advertising his...
No, it doesn't look like that's what he did. He's advertising a 3-day event that he is saying will tear down the election and attack Dominion's machines and say we were hacked by China and the entire election was fraudulent. And Fox News in particular is in 2 lawsuits with Dominion and Smartmatic. And they're well within the safety zone of not being sued as long as they don't contribute to this bullshit. And by the way, if Fox News was the fair and balanced patriotic network that everyone says they are, on the right, or used to, now they don't obviously. If they were really that, and there was really something to this, and Trump really was still president, and Mike Lindell really had a point, they would eat the 1.3 billion lawsuit and fight it out, and it would just be worth it to them in free press. They would sue for their legal fees after it was all over, after they proved their point, and they would make money on the deal. They would absolutely, the network would be doing better. It would get more visibility, not just here, but worldwide because of that story. But they chose to look at the evidence and go, oh my God, this guy's a moron.
Event. What's wrong with that when I see other people advertising their website and or their platform,
right,
or even their event?
That's right. That's right.
Well, the other websites, platforms, and events aren't part of an ongoing lawsuit that Fox is dealing with.
Right. That's right.
That's right.
Fox is almost done. Yep. That's just my opinion.
Yep.
You're not gonna have an opinion.
Yeah, why not? It's your show.
Everybody is disappointed in Fox, friend.
Yeah.
Everybody is, because it doesn't make any sense on how they treat people.
No.
They don't seem like they're true conservatives, and there's only a few over there that really be talking some junk.
That's
and
right.
they know if they try to bring them down, that's the end of Fox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they go after Bartiromo.
And so that's why we tell you all that we still have a patriot on the battlefield, Mike Lindell. You got to go to mypillow.com. mypillow.com. Make a purchase of anything on that particular website. Use code DS21
Use our code.
to
No, don't.
save up to 66% off of your entire purchase. You have to go and do that because...
No, I don't, actually. Because, again, I feel like you're taking advantage of me.
When we support him,
Right.
okay, look at how he's supporting America with his time, sweat, blood, and tears, and everything that he's doing to try to save this
hold
country.
on. Wait. Sweat, I believe. I'm going to need proof of blood and tears.
Fox, let me tell you, if you don't support me, why am I paying you $50 million for a year to support you?
Allegedly.
Well, you're not. Allegedly. What do you mean allegedly? What?
Why am I paying you $50 million for a year to support you?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. You didn't uncover a crime. What the fuck are you talking about? Allegedly $50 million. I think the whole thing sounds suspect.
Darlene said Fox don't want the truth off. Fox is now left. Well, only before a few on that come on that night, they are totally left. They really are.
Yeah, absolutely. Fox and Friends. I mean, it might as well be Democracy Now! At this point. I mean, I'm shocked that Amy Goodman hasn't joined the Fox lineup at this point. I mean, every time I see AOC on television, I think, here she is, jockeying for a job at Fox again. Trying to get that good midday money.
And I heard, during President Trump's rally on Saturday, Newsmax played that whole rally, and Newsmax beat out Fox.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Right. They beat him out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Fred. Fred is saying hello from Illinois.
And then we were blessed to come on right after the rally.
Right.
And our ratings was up as well.
That's
right. Oh, so good. It's so nice. Your ratings were so much better after you got that sweet ride in.
Right.
Yes, Fox is the new Young Turks, and the Young Turks are the new Fox. It's just an overlap or whatever, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't watch it neither. I cannot watch what they are doing.
All right.
It's like you all are co-signing for radicals to take over and run amok in
this country.
How y'all feel? Is it just me?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to be on no rant today.
Thank you.
Is it just me? Am I the only one feeling like, I'm just real irritated by some BS? I'm irritated by the CDC. I'm irritated by the squatter up there
right.
sitting in the White House. I'm irritated by the Dr. Flip-Flop Fauci.
Yeah.
I'm irritated by it all.
Yeah, it's enough to really make you irritated.
It is. It is.
Because
Most of us, anyways.
Nothing but straight.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got to be cautious.
We better say, because you know what? That's right.
Say allegedly.
You get
That's right.
Say allegedly.
You ask a question over here.
Joe,
you get fact check.
They want to know what is new
Yes.
with the CDC.
The worst is when you ask a question and you get fact checked on your question. It's terrible.
Delta, listen. If we can't
You
talk.
got to go and see Crystal Clear on Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's what you do.
We talk about this
that's their show.
on the show.
Oh, God. Well, then I've been missing it this whole time. I didn't realize. We're telling guys, Saturday night, 8:30, meet me at Dismal and Silt. And we'll get the real deal.
Right.
You got to go see the show.
Right.
Crystal Clear.
So
8:30 p.m.
What do you mean go? Can I watch it at home? It's on the internet, isn't it? Or is this their live show?
Yeah.
Keep
Promo code irritated.
Andre Rankin said, "Hey,
T. Andre.
Auntie Diamond. Hey, Auntie Sick. Hey, baby. Yeah, we're tired of this. See, like this, y'all.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Look, anything I say, they gonna fact check it.
Yeah.
Well, no. Obviously, we're not going to fact check questions. Let me see if this. I'm going to kill myself with this audio opening.
I said I don't know who.
Yeah, hold on. It's choppy while it wakes up. Something's being weird. All right.
Blouse, no diamond. It's black. It's almost like a candy stripe black liquid.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? Phil?
It's like, and like you said, misinformation. They always want to talk about
No,
misinformation.
either it's right or wrong.
It's
Either it's a lie or the truth.
That's
Don't
right.
tell me it's misinformation, damn it. Girl.
Well, I in your defense, questions can't be misinformation. I guess you could have a push poll. You know, it's hi. We're asking questions. How would you like it if Donald Trump never became president, but every baby in the country got eye cancer? Which would you like better? Just by percentage. I'll hold.
Girl, listen to me. Listen, y'all. Okay.
All
it's
right.
just like
somebody
trying to hurt you. Well, you better go down fighting.
You show better.
You better go down fighting.
If you don't.
Oh, you mean like the Capitol Police, like the ones that had their eyes gouged, and the guy with the cracked spine? Oh, maybe you mean like Fanone, the guy who was tased till he had a heart attack and thought they were going to shoot him, and they only didn't because he had a kid and he said so, and other people, thank you, but fuck you for being there. Maybe is that what you're talking about? No.
Don't open up your mouth right now. The communism and socialism, the regime that they're trying to implement in this country, you're going to lose all your stuff and lose your livelihood.
Oh, no. I'm going to lose all my stuff. But I have this. I better tweet something right now about Marxism. on my iPhone so that people know which side I'm on. All right.
Well, I don't want to be the one having to have only eat five eggs and $15.
How fast do we go back to 5 eggs? That's random. Right on. We're back to 5 eggs. There's never gonna. For those of you that don't watch regularly, there was a story about in Cuba they ration eggs, so you only get 5 eggs a month, and this has been driving these women crazy for months now. 5 fucking eggs.
That's gonna be a problem for me.
5 eggs in a month.
That's gonna be a problem for me. Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of this Monty Python sketch where Eric Idle is playing his wife in this big restaurant sketch, and it goes on, and she's just like constantly yapping, and at one point she's like, nobody listens to me, I'm stupid, I'm Mogens, you know. All men like he just kind of rambles for a bit, and at the end of it he goes, rhythm method, right at the camera, like that's been dragged. It drags them. Oh God.
Why is Kamala going over there to visit Vietnam? How about you go visit these here communities where people are being slaughtered like hogs?
That's right.
There are communities here where people are being slaughtered like hogs, are they? Hung up. Put the kettle on, Turkish.
Right. Or go down there to the border and ask yourself why you keep letting all these people in here with COVID and wonder why the numbers are spiking in different places.
Well, there is that whole thing about, illegal immigration being what it is and people being, carrying it from there and them not necessarily being the group that, let's say, interacts the most with the group that's catching COVID. That the Trump fans, they're just not likely to be hanging out in the same neighborhoods as brown people, I think is the phrase. Yeah.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Yeah, Hannah. You know that's what's happening over there in Cuba.
5 eggs a month.
They have the same chat delay that I have. So there's like a moment later, somebody's gonna. I wish we were watching this live so I could go, wait, 5 eggs? Just keep. I need to go on their live show and just start hashtag 5 eggs. We have to do this. We have to. Hashtag 5 eggs. Shit.
5 eggs.
I'm gonna die. They're gonna come back to it like every 2 minutes because they're gonna say it, and then there's gonna be a delay on the chat, and somebody's gonna remind them again. Oh God, 5eggs.com. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Now we eat 2 eggs a day.
Yeah. Bill said we want Trump back. We sure do. Let me tell you something.
Look,
y'all. I just. How can you ruin the? Let me just say this to you all.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this here. They got this another infrastructure bill that they trying to push through. And shame on any Republican.
I think 17 is.
Yeah, you're not a true conservative.
No, you're not.
If you just print money and you know damn well we ain't got nothing backing this stuff up.
That's
right.
right.
Okay.
Oh, so we can't have infrastructure because we don't have the gold standard? So I guess you were pissed about the tax break for the millionaires and billionaires and the corporations. I mean, the corporate one was permanent, so maybe you're a little more angry about that one. Oh, 5 eggs.
So you got this trillion. I think it's $2 trillion.
No, it isn't. It's about $1.1 trillion. It's about a little under 600 added on top of the normal infrastructure stuff to basically augment it. So what you get is sort of you kind of double your money if you think about it. So let's say you have a bridge and it's constantly under repair, and it would it would cost, let's just say it costs about $100 million in the budget every year to repair parts of it and the corresponding stuff around it, shore up the land, all that kind of stuff. But it would cost $1 billion to just replace the whole fucking thing. So that just does it. And so you're no longer, not only are you not, that thing's taken care of and won't require the maintenance money that the other one needed in the hundreds of millions of dollars over time, which is, by the way, some of the reason why some right-wingers are against them, because they get that money and then they don't use it on the bridge. They divert funds and it's all graft. And that's red state pork for you. But then the new bridge, you're not spending that $100 million in maintenance every 10 years because it's in good shape. It's built to last. And so there's minor elements to it, but you don't. So you spend that $1 billion, and over the course of 10 years, you save that $1 billion and lives. All right. Sorry, my chat thing slided behind. Oh God, 5 eggs. I'm fine. All right. Let's see. Sorry, continue. Please.
Whatever. Infrastructure
Whatever. It's 1 million, 2 million, whatever.
bill. All right. Okay.
All right. Okay.
You got people laying out of work. We're in the midst of a pandemic.
Right. Yeah, people who aren't working, especially in the construction area where there was a slowdown, a lot of those folks would work on infrastructure. Say it with me. Infrastructure projects.
They talking
Cuckoo, Francis.
about, I heard, it's been alleged that they're talking about trying to shut down some of these here blue states. Right. Now.
No, they're not shutting down these here blue states. I don't know who they are. I mean, maybe, I don't know, you talk to the Proud Boys. Maybe they mean they're going to, maybe you mean like right-wing militias are going to do it? Like kidnap the governors?
How is that deficit going to be paid off if people sitting on their behinds and can't go to work?
Yeah, what's wrong with Americans?
Because with everything, there is a systematic order and flow to it. And when you stop the flow, something going to get flooded here, something going to be out of order. And all of this is out of order. And when I look at what's being played,
I say I'm out of order.
Played out, this is being somebody deliberately trying to tank this country.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Coming in there with a silk with the save.
This is being somebody deliberately trying to tank this country.
Allegedly.
Something's going on.
Fact checkers, we got to be cautious of.
Well, what you call it?
Well,
I honestly, Diamond, I don't know what to call it. Because, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I mean that. I mean, I suppose there's some sort of like, whatever you do, don't fix the plumbing, we're trying to sell the house mentality here. Don't mow the lawn, we're trying to sell the house. As far as, upkeep, understanding. Yeah, satire, YouTube, satire.
You gonna put more small businesses out of business.
Why would it put small businesses out of business? Wouldn't they have better roads and bridges and infrastructure to go to? What about the broadband expansion? What about the infrastructure bank rural areas will benefit more from this? Why do you think there's 17 Republicans on this part of it?
To ask the fact checkers what they call it, because they got so many different names, so many different rules, so many different articles, so many different write-ups about everything.
Well, yeah, if you're checking facts, there's a lot of facts and falsehoods out there, so there'd be more than 50% of your time would be chasing down falsehoods and providing facts. And then slightly less than that would be pointing out facts that are true that people don't believe.
Johnny, I want you to be careful. Johnny said, I'm in Florida and we got a big target on our backs. Be careful.
Be very, very,
Yeah, be careful.
very careful.
Be careful because you're a
everybody.
red state.
Why?
Yeah.
Be careful.
Why?
And you all, I want you to take this Delta variant. Take this serious, okay?
Yeah.
Take it serious. Go.
I don't know. Silk just laughed. Yeah. It didn't sound like she's taking it too seriously. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Back and look at our last podcast.
Okay.
And I need y'all to take this a little serious.
Yeah.
A little.
But I don't want you to be so fearful that you look.
That you go somewhere and fold and go cold.
Right.
But when you
That you go someplace, fold and go cold.
talk about the podcast, if you want to hear our last podcast, you
I really don't. I gotta be honest, I don't.
have to go to chattit.com.
Oh, good. I'm not gonna. I thought it was gonna be like someplace where I'm like walking along and I see it accidentally. You know what I mean?
ChatDIT.com. You have to go to chattit.com to hear our last podcast because it's so full of truth. We can't play it here on these social media platforms because they will shut it down.
I think
They
it's
don't
on the
know the
home
truth.
page.
Why would why would they shut down talk about taking the Delta variant seriously? At some point, do you suggest that the way they take it seriously is by rubbing poison oak on their butthole as a cure? Is this the I? And please God, don't demonstrate it. All right.
All you gotta do is click on it.
All you got to do is go to Chattit, and it's right there.
all
You
you
don't
gotta
even
do.
have to log in.
Right. So that
That's
you
right.
can see. Look. So a lot of things I can't even talk about.
No.
Hey, I be wanting to talk about everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's just no time.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, you don't have time to talk about everything. Just get to the good stuff.
Yes, we be wanting to talk about a whole
Wait.
lot of stuff.
Wait. Hold on,
Uh-oh.
Derek. I'm about to get you, baby.
5 eggs.
Okay, what's
Hey,
up?
Diamond and Silk. Hey, Diamond. Hey, Silk.
Well, which was it?
Whatever your thoughts when David brought My Pillow Man, I keep forgetting his name, showing David what happened during 2020. What are your thoughts? David who? Would you please elaborate?
Wait, hold on. This asshole who watches your show doesn't know who Mike Pillow is and is asking for the name of somebody else who isn't Mike Pillow in a video. What?
Okay, because I'll be so busy. Oh, I'm glad you just received your sheet. All right, Jamie, I ain't telling you to take it. I ain't telling. Listen, I'm not a doctor.
Oh my God. How long did it take for somebody to go, don't tell me to get that vaccine? I don't take that shit seriously. How long did it take? Faster than 5 eggs. That was 5 eggs. That's how long it took.
No,
I can't tell you what to do with your body.
That's right.
I can't tell you what to pump in your body.
that's right.
I can.
Okay, you see what I'm talking about, Sil?
I see exactly
I'll
what
never
you're talking
tell
about.
you. Make your own decisions, baby.
You have to make your own
That's
decision.
what you're gonna have to do.
This is the land of the free, the home of the brave, not slaves. We shouldn't be enslaved to a government.
Well, we're not. Obviously. At all.
That's right.
That really is supposed to work for us.
No.
They are. They provided a free vaccine to a epidemic that is killing people across the globe.
And we, as American people, we pay our tax dollars, pay their salary. They're
Right, to fund things like the NIH and the CDC so that we know we can take them seriously.
supposed to work for us.
Right.
They do. But how hard do they have to work before they go, well, I'm not going to shove it down your fucking throat?
They're supposed to do what we want them to do.
That's right.
I would never tell you to put 5 eggs into your body. I don't know, but I'm fairly certain at any point 5 eggs could come out during the
Turn
show.
around and tell us what they gonna do.
That's right.
That's not how it's supposed to
Right.
be.
That's right.
It's not? People don't talk and say what I'm going to do. Like I wouldn't. Your friends don't tell you what to do and what they would do and give you advice and
Right. Yeah. I listen. Y'all.
listen. Yeah, come on.
I can
Come on.
go to the mom top and scream, what the heck is going on? At some point,
Yes.
this fuckery has got to stop.
Oh, uh-oh. That's...
What the heck is going on? At some point,
Yes.
this fuckery has got to stop.
It-
Now, I know y'all
no.
gonna get mad, old Diamond. Please don't cuss. Please don't cuss. But listen.
Well, I would, but I don't listen to other people to tell me what to say. Think of it as a verbal vaccine.
You all, people be done had a, let me tell you something. I feel the way I feel.
Woo.
Really?
I know people are having nervous breakdowns. Okay, what's happening with David? I know David. Who? What's happening?
David Jr.
Who is the David person you're talking about in the video with Mike Lindell who said they've discovered something about January 20th? Don't answer that person in your chat room. They are just a rambler. Let it slide. Move on. Trust me on this. This is something we all in my chat room know a lot about.
Yeah,
Just read the one that says 5 eggs and move on.
What's happening? We don't know.
We don't know this David person.
Yeah, this foolishness has got to stop.
I agree.
Listen,
Uh-huh.
we be sitting up looking like the people of Cuba. Only eating five eggs.
How long did... Oh, my God.
5 eggs a month.
And only $15.
I'm trying to imagine.
5 eggs... Wait a minute. 5 eggs and $15? This... I beg your pardon. This sounds like a deal.
That means I have to cut that egg in half several times for a month. The egg yolk. Oh Lord, that's ridiculous. What's happening?
You'd have to make egg salad and then just eat a tablespoon every day.
To
Okay,
David?
what's happening to David Harris, y'all?
Come on, y'all, let us know.
Let me know.
Let us know real quick because we got to go.
Yeah, I got to go. We're going to be on Crystal Lato tonight.
Yeah, you got a show to do. I don't know what you're doing hanging around here.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the same seats you'll be in, and you're, of course, doing exactly what you'll be doing later, and there's literally no difference between this or any of your other shows. But you got to be someplace.
Y'all heard that I
You got to go chuck down 2 eggs and get ready.
say that.
A piece.
And if you see this video played next week sometime, that's because
5fuckeryeggs.com.
we're re-airing it for people that has been censored by these different social media platforms because we got over 2 million people and right now only 755 people is watching it right now.
Huh. See, that's weird. You got over 2 million people and only 700 are watching. And technically I only have, 20,000 and I've got 670 some odd watching right now. That sounds like a scheduling issue, I think, more than anything.
So this is what the left liberals. Well, somebody, thank y'all. You know when they not getting mad at me, they'll say, yes, this so-and-so has got to stop. Thank you.
Yeah, those squatters that's up there in that White House got to go. They have literally destroyed our country.
They are destroying
our sanctity within the last...
Yeah, their sanctity has gone right out the window. Everything is insane right now.
6 months.
Do you all?
These SOBs.
That's what they are.
Yep.
Yup.
That's right, Glenda. There are still several people on Fox that are still good.
Yeah, a couple of them. Come on.
I'll give you that. And they can't bring them down. Because if they touch them, like I'm not even going to name...
Oh, you mean like move them to Fox Nation in lieu of a raise so they don't piss off Hannity? And then... No.
The names. It will bring down the whole network. So I see a lot of
Nobody
them
watch.
speaking out and speaking what they feel, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But then you got some on there that oh no, I'm not watching ever.
They said they blocked him on Rumble.
Why?
I mean, I don't know now. I don't know what's going on, but
Baby, I don't know what's
we
happening.
don't know what's happening.
I don't go over there blocking. But let you say what you want to say. Because here's my theory.
Okay.
Sticks and stones
Here's
and
his
break
theory.
my bones, but your names, I don't give a darn what you say now.
You can say
At this
whatever.
point, with what's happening in our country, I see a lot of bickering. I see a lot of fighting back and
Yeah, you see people yelling things about eggs and fuckery. Yeah, it's terrible.
I ain't got time to be bigger and fighting. I'm trying to look. I'm a patriot.
Yeah.
I love the United States of America, and I want to make sure that
Well, you do as long as Trump's running it. The rest of the time, it's apparently a pile of shit.
our country still stand. Because if we fall, the rest of the world is going to fall too.
Yes.
Period.
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
happen.
And so we are the stronger.
So you're for the peaceful transfer of power and steady leadership and functioning, I don't know, infrastructure, for example. You'd want that.
Biggest vessel, and we have the most people.
Yeah.
And so listen,
Well, not really, but
we have to stand up for what's right.
Hey, David is on.
can you define what's right first?
Oh, did they?
Okay, so David is on Rumble. He got blocked on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, look,
Okay.
YouTube is going down the tube.
All of them.
Yeah, if they don't get it together, YouTube gonna be the you without the tube and the tube without you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that solved it.
Okay, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's going to be the tube without the U.
to YouTube.
Yeah.
All of these platforms, they're going down.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
watch.
What?
Well, yeah, now that you've been on them.
What? Tiffany, for real? Are you sure?
Now what?
What did Tiffany say?
What did Tiffany say?
I'm not going to say that out loud, Tiffany.
Okay. Well, look, we don't know for sure.
I don't know
that
for
ain't
sure,
that
baby.
ain't even our platform.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Go to
'Cause we ain't
chat.com.
yeah, uh-huh.
ChatDit.com.
What's going on?
And then go over there
Then,
to
uh-huh.
Getter.
And then
GETTR.com. And don't forget about Frank's speech.
Yeah. Go
.com.
over there, sign up, get you an account, because some things going to be changing
Right.
soon, you all. Sometimes you got to make a move. You got to
I did not know that.
yeah, don't stay still on one of these sites for long.
No, I don't say it. You got to do what you got to do.
I know that.
Truer words.
That's right.
Okay, we got to do
I
what we
can't
gotta
repeat
do.
that right now
Yeah.
Why?
until I get my facts straight.
Yeah,
Well, all right, so the show's over. Okay,
we got to get the facts.
wrap it up.
That's
Listen,
right.
I got to go. Hey, what you want me to do?
My pillow.
Oh, I can plug in the show. Don't forget, you all, to make sure you go over there and watch the show this weekend.
Yeah.
Diamond is
They're so much better at promotion than I am. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up. Listen to them, but about my show. Subscribe and watch and be here all the time and that kind of thing. It'd be great, and I would love it. And so that would be really wonderful. Hold on. No, let's see. Thank you. Thanks very much. That was good. All right, so
still
continue.
crystal clear on Newsmax at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget about our weekly podcast. You can find the podcast now on Chatted, ChatDit.com. Once you bring up the page, it sits right there. Just click on it
Yes.
so that you can hear what we're
Well,
talking
I'm glad. Yeah, can you draw me a diagram?
about for
That's
the
right.
week.
How wise is silk and diamond echoing? It sounds terrible. I'm sorry.
And don't forget about our
There's a double on it for some reason. I'm trying to figure that out. I apologize.
Mike Lindell. Go to mypillow.com. Purchase anything on the website. 6% off your entire purchase. So make sure you do all of that. Somebody said, I wish I could go to lunch with you guys. Honey, I done gained 4 pounds fooling with silk.
Sounds like 5 eggs went a little further than we thought. Sorry. I added some sound effects to my little board just to see if it would work. You did what? It looks, she looks caught.
Well, you know, it's a long story.
I need to hear it. We all need to hear it. Hold on. Thank you. There we go.
You all. And so, let me just be quiet. Silk is a cooker, y'all. And I'm going to sit right there and eat it as long as she cooks.
But we've been making sensible meals.
I like
Well, that's good.
it when she get up and cook.
But here's the deal. You're going to have to get up and start walking.
I know. I like when she get up and cook the buttery toast, the grits, the cheese eggs.
What about my healing grits?
And the sausage. And the healing grits are good, y'all.
Oh, healing grits.
The healing grits, she
What's
got
the healing
grits, and then she have healing grits. Like if you feel under the weather.
Yeah.
She got
What's in the healing grits?
Healing grits.
Yeah.
What's in the healing grits?
And I done gave me
Recipe. Why is your book not a recipe book? Healing grits.
a few pounds, but I'm about to get it right on off of me because I think I love being a little small. I look better in my dresses.
Yeah.
And I don't look like an apple, a well-rounded apple. Right here. You know, see what I'm talking about?
You're coming down.
I'm coming down.
A
okay?
half an apple.
A half an apple. That's right. Okay, y'all. Listen, I love y'all, and y'all didn't even have to pay.
See, that was darling. That last few minutes, right there, that's fine. Yeah, she makes all kinds of grifts. Yeah, healing grifts, cheese grifts.
For my love. You didn't have to pay for her love.
No, you
we
didn't.
will see you all next time, all right? Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.
Hello,
Oh my God, and they're running the ad
I'm
again.
Mike Lindell, and I'm coming to you with the most important commercial that I've ever done.
Jump cut.
All of you know what my pillow and myself have gone through in the last 5 months in my efforts to bring the truth forward.
Jump cut.
Well, it's all come down to this. I'm having a site.
All right. Well, I mean, they're just gonna run the fucking ad again because he's paying them to. All right. So there. I mean, there's a bunch here, but let's jump over if we can to. I don't know if you know this, but Dan Bongino had Trump on his show, Unfiltered, and apparently they edited it to, I guess, filter it.
Welcome back to Unfiltered. Joining me
Hi.
now is the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. President Trump, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. Good to be with you.
Sir, so when you were in office, you declared an emergency at the border in April of 2020 when you realized the problems we were going to have with the coronavirus.
So not before that, when the numbers were the same they were this year.
Apprehensions at the border dropped to 16,000. 16,000
Yeah, because of COVID.
after you made that decision. President Biden's done the exact opposite, and
Well, they did stack at the border, for one. They started accumulating on the other side of the border. They didn't just vanish. They didn't not come. They just all parked. Right? We do know this. We're still operating in reality, right, Dan? Bongino, who's looking for TP for his bunghole.
apprehensions at the border are upwards of 200,000. This is a total failure, isn't it?
There's never been anything like it. We had the safest border, the most secure border in the history of our country, and now we
Well, clearly, that's not true, but...
have by far the worst. Hundreds of thousands.
Maybe, well, okay, it's the worst ever. So after we built the wall, the border is worse than it's ever been. After you spent 4 years convincing us that Mexico was going to pay for it and 2 years building the goddamn thing. After the wall is constructed, worst border ever. Just clarifying, just so we're all on the same page. Before wall built, fine. During COVID, very low, no one moving, everyone staying home and being afraid to die. And then wall built, and after wall built, it sucks. Seems weird. So, yeah. Worst ever happened after wall. Gotcha.
Of people are pouring into our country on a monthly basis.
Yeah, millions every month. I mean, do you really need people? I mean, this is great video. This is from last year, but it's okay.
We're talking about millions of people, millions and millions. And the worst of all is other countries are emptying out their jails and prisoners are coming in.
Yeah, you know, I have a great relationship with the president of Mexico, but he's dumping all of his rapists out and sending them straight to America like sexual assaulting cruise missiles. But I love the guy, and we get along, and we're very different, but I still call him.
And these are rough prisoners. These are the toughest prisoners you'll find anywhere. And they're coming into our country totally unchecked.
Well, I mean, excuse me, sir, you're not being a very good white supremacist right now, because in American jails, the Aryan nation makes up 1% of the prison population and is 20% of the murders. So I'm just saying, if you really want some good, bought and paid for murders happening, some real tough hombres, as it were. I don't know that they'd like you to say hombre. They probably get mad about that. Anyways, I don't want to mis-transracial them. But, yeah.
And it's a disgrace. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country.
Mr. President, you had a big win, an endorsement of Mike Carey for Congress. Big win.
And a big loss before that. That's weird.
For you and your endorsement.
So you're a coin flip.
Over there. What are your feelings about 2022 and 2024, if you wouldn't mind, given the Democrats' obvious overreach, defunding the police?
Not the only people who signed on to the defunding the police stuff literally in a bill was the Republicans.
Inflation out of control.
That'll be dead by December, probably.
We don't even have a southern border anymore.
Well, it's the wall. I blame the wall, don't you?
Feelings on 2022 and where the Democrats' luck may be.
Well, I feel very good about it. We also had a big win in Texas. So we had 2 Republicans running. We won 3 months ago, a big one, and we got 2 Republicans running, no Democrat. And
yeah, and the person in a dual fight between Republicans, the one you supported lost. Okay.
The Democrats that voted, of course, voted against me. But that was a tremendous win. And then we had the big win in Ohio. That was more of a normal election. And Mike won by really a lot. I mean, what he did was fantastic. And
yeah, nobody turns red districts redder.
He trounced the opposition.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the echo. It's I don't quite know what the cause of it is right now. It's very strange.
Very good people in that opposition, by the way. But Mike Carey is going to do a fantastic job. He's got an election coming. But I think he's going to do very well in it.
Mr. President, where do you stand on this explosion and reemergence of mandates? We get it. We've heard the science on the vaccine. We get it. It's a serious threat to virus, to at-risk groups. Everybody understands that.
Oh, sorry. To at-risk groups. That's adorable.
You didn't have as much information when you got in office. It was a new virus, obviously. Where do you stand on these mandates?
Well, first of all, could you imagine if I were president right now and we had this massive attack from the coronavirus? Now they like to call it they have new names and they'll have other new names, but it's exactly what we had. We had the same thing. If that
I don't know what the whole. There's lots of names for it. I don't know what that proves. He seems to think that's a winner. It seems to be something that he clings to.
If that were me, they'd be saying, "What a horrible thing! What a horrible job."
Well, if it were you, there wouldn't be the strategic rollout. Like all the people, let's say in the red states who are getting vaccinated right now, wouldn't have access to those vaccines if you were actually running things. That would be the thing.
I don't ever hear that, and these are numbers in some cases that are equivalent to what it was, but we don't hear that. I think I have to be a big vaccine fan because I'm the one that got it done so quickly. We got it done in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 years. They would have never even gotten it done. So I'm a big fan. At the same time, I'm a big fan of our freedoms, and people have to make that choice for themselves. And
yes, freedom to die. It's very important that you have that freedom and you show your freedom and show Trump how free you are.
I would recommend that they get it and they get it done, and they're being protected, and the vaccines turn out to be a tremendous thing. And I also, though, feel strongly there are some people that do not want to do it, and I really believe in somebody's choice, somebody's freedom, and that's the way it is. The mandates are crazy, and
yeah, no one is mandating the vaccine on a government level. Companies are doing it. The kind of stuff that Rand Paul and you always push for.
What they're doing.
Of course, Rand Paul doesn't do it about vaccines. He does it about, like, black people being allowed to eat in restaurants or Jews being able to go to country clubs.
With schools now they don't know. Are they going to keep them closed, or what are they doing?
They're opening. They're just debating about masks. Most are wearing masks. No one thinks they're not open.
The teachers' union now is in flux.
No, they're not.
All of the things that are happening, people have to get back. The kids have to get back to school. They do very well against the coronavirus. They do unbelievable, or as I call it, the China virus, because that's what it is. It's the China virus. That's where it came from. Came from the lab. I said it came from the lab. Now they're all saying, well, I guess he was right about that. But they used to take people off. They probably still do. They take them off Twitter.
No, they don't. No, they didn't.
They take them, they deplatform people when you said it came from the lab. But it came from the Wuhan lab, and
No, it didn't. We don't know that for a fact. They're still looking into it. And as a matter of fact, it's weird because, let's see. I'll have to find this one, and this is kind of important. Let's see. Origins of COVID funding. Something like that. Like, you mean like this kind of stuff? That kind of. How about let's see. Hold on. Let me jump back over here to. Oops, clicked on the same thing. This is a. I mean, clearly a left-leaning paper. That's why it's yellow. U.S. President asks agencies to redouble efforts amid questions over the role of Chinese lab. U.S. President said Wednesday that he had asked his officials to deliver within 90 days their conclusions on how the SARS-CoV-2 virus first spread to humans. Biden said in a statement, as of today, the U.S. intelligence community has coalesced around two likely scenarios, but has not reached a definitive conclusion on this question. I have now asked the intelligence community to redouble their efforts to collect and analyze information that could bring us closer to a definitive conclusion and to report back to me in 90 days. Biden did. Trump, no. That's weird. Weren't you president all during this whole thing?
disgrace what happened, frankly, a real disgrace.
Say disgrace more. I think it's got the oof you're looking for.
Mr. President, that segues into my next question. I was going to ask. The media coverage during your administration was an abomination, and that may be selling it short. I mean, it was really atrocious. Whether it was the Wuhan...
Well, you were on, obviously.
Lab leak, which looks likely at this point, and accurately, you said that in the beginning and pointed that could be a likely scenario. But one of the other things I find odd is, you were very gracious to Democrat governors during the crisis, whether...
What? Very gracious to Democrat governors. That's Dan Bongino. I'm sorry, he was what? In an interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity Thursday night, you can't expect Dan Bongino to know that. Trump complained about two Democratic governors, Jay Inslee of Washington and Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, whom he fumbled to identify, instead calling her a woman governor, saying they complain too much and that we'll have to make a decision regarding Michigan's emergency declaration. Without identifying by name, Trump also criticized New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's request for 30,000 ventilators, saying, incredibly, I don't believe you need 40,000 or 30,000 ventilators. That's what he wants from governors during Friday's briefing. He said, I want them to be appreciative. We've done a great job. When they're not appreciative to me, they're not appreciative to the Army Corps, they're not appreciative to FEMA. I say, Mike, don't call the governor of Washington. You're wasting your time with him. Don't call the woman in Michigan. It doesn't make any difference what happens. It doesn't. 40,000 dead now? It doesn't make any difference what happens. Trump said during the briefing, before mentioning that Pence is a different kind of person, he'll call quietly anyways. Bipartisan group of congressional representatives from Michigan wrote a letter Thursday to Pence urging the federal government to approve pending shipments of additional personal protective equipment, like a request for 200,000 swabs that has gone unfulfilled. This is, when was this? What was the date on this? March 27th, 2020. Abomination, you were saying.
It was Governor Murphy you had at the White House, or Governor Cuomo, even though you have obvious political differences. You sent the comfort up there. And these Democrat governors had a really terrible record. Their deaths per 100,000 people are the worst in the country.
Well, they might have been until Florida and Texas said, hold my meth.
In New York and New Jersey. And yet now it's the opposite approach by the media, sir.
And now it's the opposite states that are the problem.
Now Joe Biden's in the White House, has his own crisis to deal with, and Republican governors, Abbott and DeSantis, all of a sudden are the enemies. Odd, no?
Yeah.
Well, they're the ones with the highest death rates. And it was preventable. Like, if you had them early on in this, you could argue that that was just the nature of, confronting this as it unfolded. But they had the death rates when we already have a vaccine. That'd be the difference. You know what I mean? It's like the difference between being sucker punched and losing a fight you picked yourself.
Well, it's a great way of phrasing it. It's very interesting. I used to do a weekly call. We would have a weekly call with governors, and all governors, Republicans, Democrats, would have 50 governors on plus, because we'd have people from the islands, we'd have others, but we had 50 governors, and they were very gracious, and they would say what a great job we did, unbelievable job, and then some of them would go out and do a press conference and say exactly the opposite. It was disgraceful. But
well, maybe they weren't talking to you. Maybe they were talking to the FEMA people that they were actually having cooperation with, but then when you were on the phone, they were like, he's an asshole.
I could, and by the way, we could write a book on governors.
Do it. Write a book on governors. 50 chapters, starting now. Dictate the whole thing.
I am the king of governors because...
The king of governors.
I could tell you the good ones and the bad ones. And you have some very good ones, and you have some really, really bad ones. Both parties. But you have some good ones and some really bad ones. But I noticed the way they're going after DeSantis. I noticed the way they're going after our great governor from Texas, and he's done, Greg Abbott, he's done a really good job. Ron's done a really good job.
No, he has not.
But they're going after Republican governors.
No, they're not going after anyone. Those are the states with the highest deaths and case counts. And they are the same states that are attacking mask mandates in schools and every protective measure.
To a much lesser extent did that, unless I thought they were doing a bad job. Some obviously did a horrible job. I mean, they've destroyed their states. It's going to be years before they can really come back.
Like I'm sorry, which states are those?
But no, it's a...
Which states are those? Seriously, which states? There's like zero lag for New York and California, that's for sure. What was he talking about? Ohio?
It's a total double standard, and the press understands that, but the press has been unbelievably dishonest and corrupt.
Yes, it's not believable that they've been corrupt in any major way or dishonest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how the governors, again, were heroes in your administration despite being goats, and now the opposite story because you're out of office.
Well, again, people who had a high death rate when there was no vaccine versus people who have a high death rate now when there is a vaccine.
On to a different topic, if I may.
Yeah, don't drill too deep.
Cori Bush, member of the Squad, she's a congresswoman.
Is Cori Bush in the Squad? Okay.
She came out this week and reignited calls to defund the police. This has been an absolute apocalypse for the Democrats, even though Joe Biden, during the campaign against you, was on the record saying, yeah, he'd be for reallocating some money away from police.
Yeah. Reallocating some money away from police according to cities for mental health stuff so that cops don't have to go on those calls is not defunding the police.
This is going to be a disaster for them in 2022.
It's not actually going to be a disaster. It's not going to have any legs
Isn't
at all.
it?
I mean, keep bringing it up, though. It's really, you're doing a great job.
Well, I think it's going to be. I think we're going to do very well. We've done a great job. Look, we had the strongest border in the history of our country. Another 2 months, we would have had the wall complete.
That's what it was. It's just that they're going through that 2-month gap.
Now they're paying billions and billions of dollars not to build the wall, not to complete it. We would have had it done in 2 months, maybe even less.
It's like a Marx Brothers routine. How much to build the wall? $4 billion. How much to design the wall with building it? $6 million. Okay. How much to not build the wall? You can't afford it.
Less than that. Got to be painted or it's going to rust. They know that, but they don't want to do that either.
Yeah, that's just... I see the Trump wall and they have to paint it black.
They are just, who knows where they're coming from. Look what's coming into our country. Who knows what they're doing. But I will tell you.
Well, you were just the president. You could have access to a lot of information that most people don't. Maybe, is it a comprehension problem? I think so.
I watched her the other day. I watched the hatred. I watched the statements that she was making. And no, she wants to defund, and they want to defund. You know, it's not a popular issue. So some of them are trying to back off it. But they want to defund the police. They want, like, the vote.
Yeah, literally, 3 people? It's the same. There's the same number of people in the Republican Party that want to legalize all drugs. Not decriminalize, legalize all drugs. Just for the record. Everything. Heroin, like fentanyl, just buy it over the counter. Anything. You'll figure it out.
Voter ID, they don't want it. They don't want voter ID. Now, every once in a while, you'll see them come, oh, absolutely, we love voter ID, because they're seeing poll numbers. It's 88% positive. So some of them are now saying, look, we can't ruin our political career over it. So all of a sudden they're saying...
Oh, you mean they're representing what the people want? So they're shifting their position based on new information from the voter, right? That's what's happening. So where else could that apply?
We'll accept the voter ID. It's disgraceful, but they want to defund the police.
No, they don't. But keep saying it.
And tell me that makes sense. Look at what...
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense when you say it. It doesn't make sense about the few people that you have found say it.
What's going on in New York? Look at the crime in New York. Look at the incidents that happen where they're beating up elderly people in the streets, beating them up.
Yeah, it's almost like it's New York.
And the cops aren't doing anything. And our prosecutors, they're just after Republicans, guys like me.
Yeah, that's it. They would have... That old person got beat up in the street because the cops that were on that beat were taken off to go after Donald Trump.
The prosecutors, they should be... I think the biggest problem is our prosecutors in New York and other places. They go after Republicans, but if you kill somebody, you're okay. It's a disgrace.
Yeah. For the record, anybody who's watching the show anywhere, if you kill someone, it is not okay. I would like to say that as a liberal and a Democrat, it's not okay. It's just not. It isn't okay. Even doing it in self-defense, even if it's justified, it's not okay. It's something terrible you have to live with your whole life. It's awful.
What's happening, and I don't think the country's going to stand for it much longer. They're disgusted. They're destroying our country. Whether it's at the...
That was an edit. Oh, is that where they took it out?
To stand for it much longer. They're disgusted. They're destroying our country.
See that? That was a cut. Dan Bongino.
Whether it's at the border, whether it's on crime, I could say in plenty of instances, including military. You look at the leaders of military, the woke leaders of military, we have to focus on our great military for what it's supposed to be, to protect us against very powerful countries like Russia and China and others who don't exactly love us.
Well, yeah, they do. That's what they do.
Mr. President, can you stay with us through this brief break?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can cut some of that time out.
Yes, go ahead, Dan. Sure.
Thank you. We'll be right back with former President Donald Trump. Stay tuned.
I'm just saying, when he was on Fox and Friends, they didn't go to break, Dan. They just wrote it out.
Welcome back to Unfiltered.
But that, in all fairness, he's no longer president, completely irrelevant, and not really worth losing advertising.
Filtered, and we're back with former President Donald Trump. Mr. President, you've always, when you give speeches and you see an American flag, you made a point
of humping it.
To grab the flag,
rub it,
hug the flag, embrace.
Wait, did he say hump?
You see an American flag, you made a point to grab the flag, hug the flag.
Ah, he almost caught himself. Did you see that? Hump the flag is what he did.
And you see an American flag, you made a point to grab the flag, hug the flag, embrace it.
That's what he's doing. He's hugging it. He's not humping it. He's humping the flag. Dan, you of all people clearly, when you see Donald Trump rubbing his groin on an American flag, hump is the word that comes through. Or death. Hump or death.
We're very proud of our country. Yet we have athletes in the Olympics supposedly representing our country, deciding it's a good idea in front of an international audience to embarrass the country.
Well, no, it's not embarrassing to the country, Dan, and I'll explain it to you why. Is that if in our country, you have a right to have a grievance with the government, for example, and you can show that grievance in any way that you choose. You have the right to free speech, and because of that right, which is sacrosanct and is one of the most important aspects of our country and in many ways the essence of our existence, that means that even in those circumstances, you can turn your back on the flag if you want. Other countries that Trump likes very much, you can't do that or you'll die. So every time one of them does it, even if it's negative, it's still a positive for the flag because it is emblematic of the very thing that they are doing, which is the right to protest, the right to, to have free speech. So, however, if you rub your dick on a flag, I think it has to be burned. I think that's Marine rules.
And take a knee, and you see ratings plummet.
Yes, in Russia, you don't hump flag humps you.
As a result, your thoughts on that?
Well, the ratings do. It plummeted for the NFL. It plummeted for baseball. You see what's going on.
Yeah, they weren't able to have games, and then games were slapdash and starting again. But then now they're through the roof. They're selling out games. It's ridiculous. They're packed.
But look at the soccer team, the women's soccer team. All of a sudden, they're not like they were. They were supposed to win the gold medal. But the word woke means loser.
The word woke means loser. Thanks. Do they give you blocks in the room they keep you in?
If you're woke, you're going to lose. And ultimately, we're not going to let woke make this country into a loser. But you watch that, and I watched some of the people, and I was very proud that some of the young women on the soccer team stood up proudly, and they stood up proudly against all odds.
Yeah, and the nice thing, though, is that that didn't stop you from rooting against the team. So, 3 members or 4 members turned their back on the thing, and the other members didn't, and yet that was enough for Dan and this guy, his name escapes me, both of them to basically pray for a loss.
With what they have to put up with on that team.
Yes, it's true. Trump apparently is admitting that he is woke now since he is a loser.
But the word woke is loser, and our soccer team did not get the gold medal, and they frankly didn't even come close to it. And we are, look, the country doesn't like it. I don't like it, and a lot of people have turned off.
Did you just try to find the most orange picture of him, Dan? Holy hell. Look at that. Do you know how many pictures there are of this guy that they could just rotate through when he's on the phone? They always use the same, scowl photo for the close-up. Look at that. That is what color is that? What? Look at that. What the hell? That is amazing.
To sports, LeBron James, they don't like him. The NBA didn't do great, but they did better after he was out. They don't want this. There's enough of it. They want to watch sports. They want to watch great athletes. They don't want politics in the middle of their sports games. And that includes the announcers, too. I hear some of these announcers, they're not big shots, that I can tell you, but I listen to what they say.
Yeah, you never listen to a big shot.
And you just want to turn off the game, and many people do. You see the...
Why? What are you talking about? Why is that the athlete's fault?
Ratings, how bad they are.
Yeah. Mr. President, I appreciate your time. You've been very generous.
That's not even the team's responsibility.
With it. One question for you about school closures. This is a hot issue right now. The teachers' unions, remarkably, we saw a story out at Fox News about...
A story? You saw it at Fox News? When were you there?
The Chicago's teachers' unions, which is implying they could shut down the schools again now. Parents understandably are...
they're implying it. I see. Sorry, one second. Let's see. Chicago's teachers union shut down. Something like that. Let's see. April 12th. This is okay. Chicago Teachers Union threatens to go back to teaching remotely Wednesday if no high school deal is reached. That's if no high school deal is reached. So the other schools, the elementary schools, those will all be okay. Amid a stalemate in reopening negotiations, Chicago Teachers Union is threatening Wednesday labor action in which the high school educators will refuse to work from school buildings unless an agreement is reached with the district before then. That means high school educators will walk into buildings Monday on their planned return date, but will revert to teaching remotely Wednesday if a reopening agreement remains out of reach. High school students have the option to return to the building. Had the option April 19th, but some students are supposed to return to the classroom Tuesday to take the SAT. Oh, wait a minute. When is this? Yeah, that's right. All right. This is April. Go back here. What do you got? Where's this? Maybe it's Fox's doing. Let's see. Fox News. There you go. 4 days ago. This will be it. Chicago Teachers Union says coronavirus Delta variant opens door to potentially pause in-person instruction. No, be quiet. Chicago public school students are scheduled to return to classes August 31st. It's calling for a tougher approach to combating Delta variant ahead of the new school year, suggesting that in-person instruction could be once again paused if cases continue to climb. Wednesday, letter addressed to Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Chicago public school officials, members of the school board. New pandemic variants pose immediate threats to the health of all Chicagoans, but especially our unvaccinated student population. Just horrible, Dan. Just horrible. And by the way, if you're wondering, this is what the Delta variant looks like.
Really fired up. This could be upwards of 3 years of their children's lives taken away from them. No social
3 years?
Interaction, no school. It's just not the same on Zoom. It's just not the same thing.
Yeah, go off on homeschooling. Tell everybody what idiots homeschoolers are. Do that part.
Your thoughts on that as a father yourself?
Citation needed.
Well, first of all, you mentioned Chicago. Let's talk about crime before we talk about that. But they're both just horrible. But where 70 people get shot over a weekend, 70 people, and many of those people die. In Afghanistan, we haven't lost a soldier in a year and a half because...
Well, we haven't, but there's ongoing fighting there all the time. He loves to make this comparison.
Because of what I did.
Yeah, and P.S., China has no new cases.
In a year and a half. And yet in Chicago, you have 70, 80 people being shot some weekends. It's a disgrace. As far as the schools have to open. These young people are losing a big part of their life, and they're not going to recover from it. The schools...
Why? Seriously, why? How weak are these children? Does he realize what adults went through during World War II? Does he realize what children in England went through in World War II or in France? Never recover? The fuck are you talking about? What are we just going to... This is just Trump saying, look, last year... Well, we basically had to write off any kid that was in school. I have never understood this bullshit.
Have to open what they're going through socially. I mean, they're not dealing with people. I don't think they ever... It's going to leave a scar on their lives. It's going to leave a psychological scar. We have to open our schools.
How much of a psychological scar do you think it would leave watching their classmates die?
I say let the teachers get the vaccine. They should get the vaccine. I hope they do. Again, it's something I'm very proud of. I think if we didn't come up during the Trump administration with a vaccine, you could have 100 million people dead, just like you had in 1917.
Fucking hell. 18.
You take the Spanish...
And that was closer to 50 million.
100 million people, up to 100 million people died. I think we'd be in that territory. This has been great for the world. But the teachers, let them go, get the vaccine. I don't know how...
Sorry, the audio's choppy. It's aggravating.
They have different unions, but they have one in particular. They don't want to ever go back to work. It's crazy. Yeah. Our children need to be They need to be educated. You know, it's turned out
By the way, he said home for a second and then backed up.
computers are wonderful and all of that. But one thing we've learned through college and school, the undergraduate everything, is that being in the school is much better than looking at a computer screen.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see. So, just to let you know where we all stand on every time he brings this shit up. And this is just about a year, remember. He's saying this about people all the time. So, like, this is, during this year, it's going to leave such a scar on these kids because they didn't go to school during a pandemic and watch everybody die and participate in spreading it to their grandparents, which was, you know, and their parents or their relatives or whoever might have had a pre-existing condition or comorbidity. But meanwhile, teaching your kids from home is a recipe for disaster. According to Donald Trump, your kids are always going to be scarred. They're going to be second-class citizens. They're not going to have the social skills. They're a mess. And he looks, again, what is this confused picture here?
That's one thing almost everybody universally agrees to.
You know who doesn't agree with it? The homeschoolers that have emerged as Republican foot soldiers. First come morning prayers, then breakfast, then Bible stories. After that, Andrea Ferrier's daughters take out their textbooks. Another school day has begun. As the girls dig into their math problems, Ferrier contemplates the Republican presidential candidates who are vying for the support of homeschoolers like her. They're wooing us. It feels really good, she says.
And the children have to go back to school.
Mr. President, last question, and we'll let you go again. Thanks for your time. The Biden administration's taken a shot at your economic record, which is kind of hilarious given how awful of a job they've done.
Well, you know, except that whole better than expected growth thing.
They're claiming, they're comparing the rebound from the coronavirus, the lows, to your record. Now, when you got into office, GDP grew well over the average of the 8 Obama years. That's got to upset you, given everything you did.
Well, yeah, but notice how you said average there. Because that means you have to include specifically the 3 years during and after the crash. And yet still, and I know you're not going to bring up, Dan Bongino, the fact that Jimmy Carter trounced Trump and Reagan.
Did to juice the economy at the time, tax cuts and everything else.
So the reason that our economy is doing well right now, relatively well, is because of the foundations that we built. What they're doing and the numbers that you're seeing are because of us, not because of them. Plus, what they're doing is a lot of artificial stimulus is being added in, which makes them look a little bit better. But the reason we're doing well is because of what we did. If you look...
Sorry, the audio, it'll level out in just a second. Hold on. Not quite sure why that...
Just prior to the virus coming in from China, we had the greatest employment numbers we've ever had. We had 160 million people working. African American, Asian American.
Yeah, we've done all this shit before.
Hispanic American.
The distance between black unemployment and white unemployment and Asian unemployment never narrowed. They all went down together, which meant it was bigger economic factors.
Women, people with diplomas, without diplomas, high schools without and with...
Really? You're going to show the baseball pictures?
Diplomas?
You're not going to... This is... You've just decided to do this? Hold on. Trump, baseball, catch. You couldn't find... like, this one isn't better? Wouldn't... But guy, oh boy, this one works too. Hi hi, ha 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 ha. All right. That's a better picture. You were smart to pick that one.
Everybody at the top of the line in the history of our country, it was the strongest. And again, we've never had 100.
And by the way, not even close. And by the way, he's gonna go. We had 160 million people working or whatever. Yeah, the population grows. We know this.
160 million people working, not even close right now. So we had the best numbers we've ever had. Then we had the virus come in, and then I rebuilt the economy a second time. And they're just going off what I rebuilt. That's
I mean, what you rebuilt was essentially the entire Build Back Better plan and the influx of money from the biggest rescue package in American history, and then of course the push for this infrastructure bill, which will sustain it. And then, of course, but please tell me about lumber prices.
all they're doing because they're killing the economy. You're going to have inflation is going to eat us alive. We were energy independent. We're no longer energy independent. I don't know if you saw, Dan, but they went to sea and they had meetings with Russia and OPEC to see if they would get us more energy. We had so much energy we didn't know what to do with it. We were $1.87 a gallon for gasoline, and now we're up to $4.50, and it's going much higher. So what they're doing is going to destroy the economics of our country, and maybe more importantly,
Let's see. The American Independence Index is comprised of U.S. Canadian energy infrastructure companies, master limited partnerships, and general partners of MLPs. Growing production of crude oil, natural gas, and natural gas, increase the need for new infrastructure to move, process, and store this output. This turn reduces the need for U.S. to rely on imports to meet its energy needs. Is therefore anticipated as the U.S. becomes ever more energy independent. North American infrastructure businesses, MLPs, GPs stand to profit. Well, golly, that's this would seem like as it's continuing. Is it? Is it continuing? That's strange. Let's see. Let's see. United States. Let's see. Oh no, that's Wikipedia. We're not going on that. There's the American Energy Independence Index Tracker. That's kind of what we were looking at before. Let's see. 10 to 21 in the 1950s. U.S. total land and primary industry. 2016, edging out or whatever. Basically, consumption. There we go. Of consumption, production, imports, and exports. There's exports. Here's imports. Wait a minute. If the green is the wait a minute. No. That's going down. Still going down. Why is that? Consumption's going down a little bit too. Production's down a little as 2020. Imports and exports. That's weird. It's leveling off. It's still going up slightly. It's not going down. Drove change in U.S. trade. That's 2020. Let's see. How can U.S. Here you go. U.S. oil imports 2021. Net imports of crude oil will increase from its 2020 average of 2.7 million barrels a day to 3.7 and 4.4 in 2022. Expected more petroleum. Let's see. Expected more petroleum than it imported in 2020, according to the EIA. 2020, the United States exported more petroleum than it imported, making the first time this happened, according to U.S. Energy. That's what he's clamoring about. Across energy independence, that's why he plays with the numbers. However, EIA expects the U.S. to return to being a net petroleum importer on 2021-2022 due to declines in domestic crude oil production and corresponding increases in crude oil imports. The increase in crude oil imports will drive the growth in net petroleum imports in 2021 and 2022, offsetting changes in refined production net trade. Net imports of crude, 3.7 million, 4.4. U.S. net petroleum product exports, distilled fuel oil, hydrocarbon gas liquids, and motor gasoline, among others, averaged 3.2 in 2019, 3.4 in 2020. Net petroleum products exports will average 3.5 in 2021 and 3.9 by 2022. So that's where all these other things, we have a lot of this. And we bring in petroleum, but we export the other stuff, and that's where we end up energy independent. The EIA also said the United States will import more crude oil to fill the widen gap between refinery inputs of crude oil and domestic crude oil production in 2021, 2022. U.S. crude oil production declined by about 0.9 million, or 8%, in 2020 because of well curtailment and decline in drilling activity. In 2020. Because of... All right. Further, EIA expects the rising price of crude oil will contribute to more U.S. crude oil production later this year. Domestic crude oil production will reach 11.3 million barrels per day by the end of 2021 and 11.9 by end of 2022. These values are up from the most recent monthly average of 11.1 in November 2020, but still lower than the previous peak of 12.9 in November of 2019. This is all this is the stacking people at the Mexican border and then pretending that all the people who are coming across have just come up with the idea.
What they're doing at the border and other places, with a lack of respect that other countries have for us, our country is being destroyed.
Mr. President, thanks for your time. It's an honor to speak to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Yeah, it was an honor to watch you edit a lot of what he said. It really did. I don't know, let's just grab this real quick. This goes along with the vaccine mandate stuff that you're hearing, and there's a similarity in this belief system, and we keep hearing this from Fox, that this is about governmental control, getting you to wear a mask. It's not about trying to save you from a contagious disease that's out there. It's about training you like a dog to behave whenever the government says jump, you say how high. And it's working like a charm, apparently, in the red districts. But oh God. Tucker explains Democrats' thirst for total control over citizens. By the way, this is the from the party that said women shouldn't be able to control their bodies when they're pregnant, and gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married.
Welcome back to a special edition of Tucker Carlson tonight. Now, defund the police, which was the battle cry of the left.
Yeah, but not.
Has borne fruit.
All right.
Destroyed cities across the country.
They never did it, though. They never actually did it.
Thousands of people have died because of it as the crime rate spiked.
Well, I think they died because bullets went through their body.
But the neighborhoods of the people who called for defunding the police are exempt. They have private security, lots of private security. We know this for a fact.
Well, no, in Minneapolis 3rd District, where the George Floyd killing happened, is in many ways the springboard for where that conversation started. It really did. I mean, it was local to that area. Lots of people. I mean, there wasn't private security around the areas where rioting and looting was taking place, which you decry all the time.
Federal filings show that Sadie Cortez, for example, a big defund the police, has spent...
See, now, he's picking he chose a freeze frame that makes her look psychotic. This is if it wasn't also true that they pick shots of Trump that make him look bloated and like he just washed up on a beach after dying of a Cheeto overdose and throwing himself off a bridge. You would think they were making a point with this picture, but it might just be the graphics department has an eye for sight.
Thousands of dollars this year on personal bodyguards for herself.
Well, that's because your viewers specifically have threatened her life.
Including ex-Blackwater contractors. Everything is Animal Farm now.
What? Oh, this is all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, and because she has to get security because right-wingers are threatening her life, that means she lives a privileged life instead of what a nightmare to have to hire security because the death threats are so real.
But that's nothing compared to the bill that Cori Bush of Missouri has wrapped up. In less than 3 months this year, Cori Bush spent nearly $70,000 in campaign funds for her own personal police force.
For her own personal police force. I would go her own personal bodyguards because the fuckos you're friends with want her dead.
And at the same time, she's surrounded by armed bodyguards that donors are paying for. She was calling
Well, yeah, it's a little hard. No matter how much your donors like the work you're doing, it's a little hard to do it if you're dead.
for you to lose your police protection. Now, she was asked on Wednesday how exactly this works. And as you watch this tape, imagine the reaction of the Chinese in Beijing as they watch this.
They didn't watch this.
Jaws open thinking, this is who runs the United States?
Well, they're not stupid. They don't know she doesn't. They know she doesn't run the United States. She's a single congressperson. They just know that the citizenry runs the United States, and that's something you're against too. So maybe I don't know. Call them.
We're in good shape. Ladies and gentlemen, Cori Bush.
I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets because we're trying to save lives.
I'm going to make sure I have security, so suck it up and defund the police, your police.
And according to Tucker Carlson, this is the entire policy of the Democratic Party, of Joe Biden, of everybody.
Just look at that poll. Let's say you're from a foreign country and you saw that, you would think to yourself, whatever political party she's aligned with should have no power. That's too crazy.
Well, for the record, Tucker, for example, in Hungary, it's easy to make sure they have no power. And in China, it's also easy to make sure they have no power. See, the nice thing, in deference to you, about our country is that even whack jobs like you can have a say.
It's too stupid. It's too reckless. By the way, all the billionaires who are funding the DAs who've made our country far safer.
Here comes George Soros. Do you think he'll do a name drop, or we're just supposed to assume it's Super Jew?
They're the ones more dangerous, rather. They're the ones who are letting murderers out of jail in places like L.A. and New York and Chicago and Philadelphia. They don't care if you die. They never did. But Cori Bush just made it explicit. She really doesn't care. So the country is more politically polarized than it's ever been.
Largely because of people like me.
Largely because of so-called leaders like the ones you just saw. The people in charge.
Well, no. Largely because of the media personalities who drive the conversation, like yourself.
In charge of our country don't seem that interested about the lives of American citizens. They just want to be more powerful.
Oh, is that why? When Democrats are for something that the Republicans propose, it goes to the floor. They actually vote for it, and depending on what their constituents want. But when the Republicans actually have either there's a Democratic or a bipartisan bill that's put forward, they'll hide from it rather than vote for it, because even though 60% of their supporters, oh God.
You wonder, how long can a system like this go on? Michael Anton has thought a lot about that question. He's a former speechwriter, a former national security official in the last administration, and he said,
okay, so he started out as a speechwriter, and as a propagandist, essentially, he was given a national security position by the former guy.
Sat down for us with a long and fascinating conversation.
We'll be the judge of that.
On Tucker Carlson tonight on Fox Nation. Here's part of it.
Oh yeah, hold on, we forgot that Tucker's with us on this. Is he here? Where is it? Yeah.
I like wood.
There we go. So.
In the competing two models, the blue state model versus the red state model, it seems to me
the blue states pay for the red states.
There's a real serious will on the part of the blue side to rule the reds.
Yes.
And the reds both have no desire, from what I know,
to rule the blues, but they really also don't want to be ruled by the blues.
Yeah, but it's weird that they still need the blue money to stay alive.
The red states are kind of the Ottoman Empire. You can kind of practice your own weird sectarian religion if you want, unmolested.
Yeah, exactly. And the Ottoman Empire, that worked out well.
And the blue states are like the Soviet Empire. Like, you have to read the catechism or else you're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Well, clearly not. I'm sorry, what catechism is Joe Manchin reading?
That's a problem. And if these...
It is a problem. Mainly because it's false, but other reasons.
Two governance models, as the thesis of the book kind of has it, are the...
I see. So he's selling a book that's the difference between the two.
Contending for the future of the United States. They're not contending on equal terms.
No, they're not.
That is to say, they're not saying...
No, that's true. They are not... He's right. They aren't contending on equal terms. Like, the blue states have all the money and pay for all the shit, and the red states spend all the money and are full of shit. So there is a difference.
One of us is going to win and one of us is going to lose. Because I think that the red model is, if you would just back off and let us live the way we want to live,
you would starve.
Wow. Everything would be fine. I mean,
no, you wouldn't. Your roads wouldn't line up with the other states. You'd have freeways that were off by 10 feet. Leave us alone.
Great example.
Oh, you mean like, like Texas in a winter storm.
To me, it's hugely important is energy, right? There's almost no issue on which Texas and California differ more greatly. Leave aside the cultural issues for a second, but on a real public policy question, right? Texas has a thriving oil and gas sector. It's one of the most, the strongest in the union probably.
It's the biggest, and it has the most dead land. It's got the most dead land. They're not drilling where there's trees. It's desert.
I think for sure. And
they're not fucking up scenery in Texas with oil wells. The oil wells are the scenery.
Texas, as a public policy question from the governor's office on down, is all in for this because they think it's good for the state, it's good for local companies, it's good for business.
It's good for 7-year-olds who freeze to death in cars.
It's good for workers, right?
It's good for Ted Cruz's Cancun trips.
We're all in on this. California sees itself, I'm sure other states too, but California, as a green energy pioneer. But there's no, in the California mindset, there's no possibility of peaceful coexistence because in their view, Texas's view is California develop all the wind and solar you want, great. If it works out, we're rooting for you. We're going to do our own thing. California mindset is Texas, as long as you are drilling oil and pulling gas up out of the ground and burning hydrocarbons, you're killing us all and we must force you to stop.
No, you're not a country. This isn't the fucking UN. This is the United States of America. We all deal with this.
They won't. It's hard to see what the basis of compromise on those two.
Here's the basis of compromise. A lot of Texas voters in Austin and Dallas, where in the places where there's actually a lot of fucking people who aren't rich from oil or aren't linked up to BP, Chevron, Exxon, any of these companies, or quite frankly aren't Chinese investors in Dallas who've moved in over the last decade, are 100% fine with solar taking off. Texas would be a great area for that. And not just panels, liquid salt reactors, all that stuff. Molten salt reactors. And this line that he's drawing, considering this blue state, red state nonsense that he's talking about, is ridiculous. There's oil drilling in California. There's offshore oil drilling in California. There's just more land to ruin in California. There's more worthwhile land to do other shit with in California, except Stockton.
On that issue is.
Yes.
Whereas, like I say, Texas is willing to compromise.
No, they're not. Because the compromise goes their way 100%. Their compromise is, you do that and we'll keep drilling. That's not a compromise.
Evangelical faith.
Yeah.
And it's almost like 8th century Islamic, actually. What happens if we don't do this?
I think the polarization will get worse and worse and worse. And, I think public opinion could eventually come to a breaking point. I mean, I guess you'd have to say there's two possibilities. One is the red parts of the country they give up and they say, all right, we're never going to get out from under and there's nothing we can do.
Because of it, as the crime rate spikes.
Whoops.
But the neighbors,
whatever they want to do. The other possibility is you could see some kind of, a real revolt. That is to say, if people make, over time, repeated good faith efforts to resolve this question
politically at the ballot box, if through compromise, and are just told over and over and over again, no, you could see a backlash that could take a number.
When the fuck is Texas told over and over and over again no about oil production? You're talking about public lands or native lands. Here's a good idea. Stomp your feet, stick your fucking thumb in your mouth, and be an adult.
Number of forms. I think the reason why we should start talking about this is because that backlash will not be good.
It's a threat. This is a threat. I mean, it's a veiled threat. It's a tough guy threat from Texas. You wait. If they decide they've had enough, you're gonna be seeing some Bundy-style long guns pointing on the streets of San Francisco.
Michael Anton, that conversation went on for nearly an hour.
And yet nothing was said.
It's all on a brand new episode of Tucker Carlson Today on Fox Nation.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're new or old. It's not going to do anything.
Nation.com, and well worth it, we think.
Well, you would. I mean, you wouldn't have made it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Really? That's it? Christ. What a bailout. Tucker explains Democrats' thirst for total control over citizens. That was the name of that video. Did he explain it? Do you feel it was explained? Do you feel closer to... I feel like I haven't... What... How could you... Wait. I think... Ta-da! Check, check one, check two, check, check. Okay, there it is. Hey, thanks, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, it was weird. So, what Tucker wants you to think is that there's a division in this country between the crowd that wants to be more inclusive of people who, especially who have traditionally not been included, and those people want to take that inclusion and shove it down your throat. Because you don't want to be inclusive, and that's your right as an Ottoman Empire redneck. And that if at some point we don't quit shoving that inclusion down their throat, it might just be that they have to rise up and shoot all of us. That's the big... That's the explanation for the thirst for Democrats' total control, because eventually we have to take the guns away, I suppose, so that when they get tired of including everyone, they won't have anything to rise up with. I have to say that, like, in the mix that's out there right now of political discourse, one of the problems that Fox has, and one of the problems that Ben Shapiro has, and a bunch of other people have, and I would argue that a couple on the fringy left probably have a similar problem, probably have a similar issue with their ratings during this time, is that as things normalize, as things get healthier, as people start reconsidering their entrenched positions, or survive some of their entrenchment battles and go, you know what, I'm okay. I'm not that mad anymore, or I'm not carrying that with me. Or, we can find ways to agree to disagree, but still allow for people to live and let live, right? Which would, in theory, be what the libertarian world is supposedly about. And there's, room for them to, they're allowed to be dicks, but they don't vote for anybody that's going to shut down the rights of another human being, right? That's the kind of trade-off there. And as that grows, and it's increasing, what you need from the, what the Tucker Carlsons and the Jimmy Dores of the world and those folks have to do is drive that division higher and higher, because it's failing. You know what I mean? They need a revolutionary blue pill, something they can gnaw on, little blue pill, of course, that they can gnaw on, that brings back their old-fashioned revolutionary virility that was so tasty and so easily monetized during the Trump years. So, whereas the rest of us have shit we can go back to. I like with this show, I feel like a bit like George Washington in that regard, which is like he went back to being a farmer after he was done with politics. I always feel like, you know, I'm not going to stop the show, don't worry. But as I'm doing this, if it ever got to the point where I was like, I didn't need to fight about this stuff, I could fight about something else and have some fun. But they don't. There is no world in which the Tucker Carlsons have a book club or do something else. There's no world where Sean Hannity or anybody of the other folks at Fox can't live where there isn't this hyper division. There are news reporters, and I would argue that Rachel Maddow is one of them, that can report on things that are not necessarily the end of the world, but are crucial to life and improving things for as many people as possible. And all along, you know, you need that constant gardening, especially when it comes to the politics of human beings in the United States. And it's a daily work, right? That's why we've had the news. Which is why you have the news, you know, throughout history, to keep you aware and to keep you aware of the details where you might be able to make changes to better it, you know, in that mitigatory world, the middle way of democracy that is successful. But the fringies desperately need this fight to be awful all the time. And you can usually spot them by how much they're saying the other side wants to control what you think, the fear language. Because as you know, as much as I'll, you know, take the piss out of our my colleagues across the aisle, as it were, I still always leave room for their humanity in these arguments. Not even if it may be in a situation where that person is just never going to redeem themselves and be a worthwhile citizen, but somebody that listens to them, who overhears the way I talk to them or to them, may adapt a little bit better. That doesn't mean you can't have nice little flame wars on, you know, on Twitter and whatnot. But ultimately, when it all boils down, we're still humans talking to humans. And these are still arguments as opposed to, you know, battles. These are opponents, not adversaries, not enemies. And that's got to be crucial. All right, I'm going to sign off. I will be on earlier tomorrow. I was going to go late today. Can't Stop Lying was telling me to go a little earlier today just so I could rest up for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be on about noon, my time, and we'll be doing the live fwank business. Wish me luck. I will be working on the audio issue tonight, and hopefully I will find a way to fix it. I think I have, so wish me luck. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself, and take care of somebody else, and I'll see you then. All right.